Okay, I guess we'll start a little early, a full minute. Hey, so I got a lot of things to kind of go over before I start this. Actually, not that much. A couple of them asked me questions about Kyle and the arrest warrant. No, he's not arrested yet. He supposedly is aware that he is going to go to jail. Whether he has a defense lawyer now, I do not know. Apparently, he got a defense lawyer or something like that. I don't know. I don't care. Either way, he pretty much is effectively going to jail. That's all that matters. So somebody else had asked us recently about, let me transition this. There we go. Somebody had asked, about debates. I actually have a debate tomorrow I'm doing. I'm not doing it. I'm actually hosting it with, I think it's Leopold and Finding Truth. But we are scheduling more debates now. I will be doing debates on this channel. I'm bringing them back. I will be either doing debates myself or moderating them or both. I had another one scheduled in early August, but the person just messaged me that got rescheduled. They wanted me to host that or moderate it. If you want me to moderate debates, I'm happy to do that. I have a different moderation style than most, but I can do it many different ways. Most of the time, I'm very hands-off if I moderate on other channels. I only get involved if people have a question if a fallacy was committed or if they want my opinion on something. When I moderate on my channel, however, I'm very active. It's more than moderation. I'm actually a part of the debate, and I've noted this so many times to people, and they don't seem to understand. I'll even put it in the video description. My channel, my moderation, my involvement kind of stuff, right? But yes, so the person who asked that, yes, I'm bringing some stuff back. We're gonna put some other stuff on this channel. I'm doing a video review from Jake the Metaphysician tomorrow. I've asked him if he can join. He is doing a stream tomorrow on that himself, so I don't know if he's able to. He's going to get back to me. He cannot do it today for sure. This is why I put out a poll on my Twitter and Patreon. What do you want me to do today? Do you want me to do the Metaphysician one, or do you want me to do this? This one overwhelmingly, but I did have some people's concerns on my Patreon, and as you know, I listen to my Patreons, but I had to weigh all things all considered and said, look, Jake can be available tomorrow, he can't be available today. Tomorrow's Sunday, great day for philosophy. Is it okay that I do this one and then do the philosophy one tomorrow, right? So I'm going to try to do a mixture of both, and then on the GDC channel, I do more of the, I don't want to say hypercritical one, it's not really hypercritical, just more critical, right? I mean, I don't want this channel to have any possible way they can flag it, right? So everything I do on this channel, I make sure is 100%, not something that YouTube would even care about. Even on my other channel, they wouldn't care, right? But I understand that there are some very special snowflakes that will sit there and try to find any little thing that I say to try to make it TOSable. They've never succeeded, by the way. Fun fact. They've tried, but they've never succeeded. But I have fought YouTube quite a few times, and they've always come back in my favor because I know the rules. A lot of content creators don't, and I like to think that everything I put out is just facts. I mean, if it's not, then I ask my people, my friends, anybody who's watching, hey, if I have facts that you don't think are facts, let me know. I'll correct them, right? So anyway, so let me dive right into this. As you guys can see on my screen, I've got my Unirock FBI files, I've got my super secret stuff, and I've got my Reds Rhetoric Discord files. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, they're all empty. I'm not going to show you. I'm going to let you wonder about that. But those are my files in those. This is there you go. Let people wonder about that. And because he checks my desktop, right? So I know you guys can't see this very well. Don't worry. I will be blowing this up. So if the Intrigued Feline's watching, I will make this larger. See, she already said it. She already said it before I said it first. I said it first before Intrigued Feline put it in the comment section. Go check the tape. Unless there's lag. But I knew she was going to eventually say it, but I understand that. Don't worry, Intrigued Feline. Watch this. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I already planned ahead on you. I already planned ahead. And then look, I can actually, how do I make this one larger? That's pretty large. No, that's a lot large enough. How do I I don't want to change anything on here. Can you guys read that? Is that too small? Let me, you forgot the delay. No, I did not. I said it first. I know I did. Because I knew you were going to say it. But anyways, hopefully when I blow up like this, you'll be able to see it. I think that's legible. Oh, the stream is behind. Yeah, there's the like. Okay, I swear to you, I didn't see your comment before I say that. You have to believe me. So you know what? Do a time delay, because whatever the time delay is, then figure it out. But I knew you were going to say it. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually show you this real quickly. The original things are submitted, right? Somebody asked, did I not promise Augie RFC an exclusive to your story? I did. He didn't take me up on it. He didn't want it, or whatever. And he certainly wasn't very fair to me, and neither were the people on that thing. They were not fair to me, and he didn't ever get a hold of me, so screw it. So this is some of the stuff that I've never shown anybody else publicly. I have given this link privately to people, obviously, but publicly this is the first time I think I've shown my Google documents and what I had submitted to my lawyer and what I wanted to have, brought out in the hearing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of do a comparative thing. If you guys have not watched Erin's video yet, immediately after this, go watch it. Don't watch it while you're watching this. That would be kind of silly, right? So we'll watch her video where she just has the straight information. She doesn't do any commentary on it. She puts out the documents. She puts out my information. No, I think she just puts out the documents. And she doesn't comment on it, right? So this is my commentary on what she put out based upon my experience and my Google documents that I wrote. And they're long. One of them is 76 pages long. 76, I think, pages long. So all right, so let's dive into this. Hopefully you guys can see this pretty clearly. This is just her petition. I'm not going to go through this specifically because I'm going to go through it in my Google Docs where I just copied and pasted it. But if you want to go check it out, this is the information. This is what she's claimed. And again, that's my address. It's public. I don't care. So you can go through all this stuff, whatever. Well, they'll probably blur it out just because TOS. Somebody will say, oh, Steve doxed himself. It's against TOS. I don't care. My information has always been public. But anyways, that's the original document this is the affidavit that she had, right? And Erin had this on her channel, right? And then this is the confidential exhibits, which I have redacted. Okay, so there is some things that are redacted in here. But this is what she submitted to the court. So what I want to do is I want to kind of compare what she had put in to get the TRO as a petition for it as compared to the evidence that she provided. Okay. So I'm going to try to blow this up as much as possible. I don't want to change the font because you can see this last was edited on June 8th, 2020, right? Now, this one I edited on June 12th, but I had fixed something. This one was done on June 26th by Cheshire Vic. She messed it up. She clicked something on it because I was making this links list. I gave it to her the next day. But the day before, I was going over to Cheshire and she clicked on it. So this was changed by Cheshire. Blame her. But you can see that, this, and by the way, Erin had already, this right here was already on Erin's channel. So you can go see that I did it long before the June 26th, But these were from June 8th, 2020, give or take, right? So, all right. So can you guys read? Again, I don't want to. I guess hopefully you can read it. I don't really want to blow it up. Is this legible to you guys? Is this I mean, I could do maybe an output monitor and see if it is. But let me know if you can actually read that. All right, so this is what she claimed. Here we go. And hopefully I get through this in one stream. There's a lot of stuff in here. Act of harassment. Respondent has monitored, or pursued the victim as follows. Respondent has been cyber stalking me since 2019. He has uploaded 30 videos and created multiple hate groups, posted my son's medical history, my address, and directed people to harass me. On May 26, 2020, Respondent and his associates created a subreddit and posted my address, phone, and neighbor's address and phone. See my attached affidavit for further context, which we will do. Oh, it's still not legible? You can zoom in on the toolbar. It's right below harassment. Where do I zoom in on the toolbar? Oh. I should have known that. There we go. How about that? That must be better. All right, so this is my response. And again, this is some long stuff, okay? So this is just the first document. I told you I had a lot of Google documents. And it's kind of funny because, they said, oh, well, Steve ran away from Katie. Steve didn't want this to go to trial. Then why the hell did I spend literally days and days and days and days poring over stuff, having it all ready to go to hearing? I mean, let's lose a little common sense here, right? Thank you. This is why I haven't treated feline. She's amazing. So I said, I have over 1,700 videos. It's over 2,000 now, I think. Ostensibly, if I had made 30 videos about Miss Paulson, that is 0.1%. You know me in math, right? Fun fact, she's made how many videos of the Duggars, how many videos of me, how many has Unirock made of me, and I made 30 videos, and that's harassment. Let's do a little comparison here. First of all, making videos is not harassment. Responding to false allegations is not harassment, right? But I asked my followers, pretend you're the judge, and all you saw was what she posted. She didn't, and not the actual facts, right? Because the judge, I don't think the judge saw any of her evidence. Don't quote me on that. I cannot prove that, and I'm not positive of that. But I believe the judge never saw anything because he never got the discovery. The judge only saw this information she provided as why she wanted the TRO and her affidavit. That's it. So, because my lawyer did say that no hearing he's been in with that judge has only gone over 2 hours, and they wanted to spend all of that time over all that information. He's like, none of it's even relevant. What are they going to waste 2 hours on? Or more. So. All right. And by the way, it's going to be very long because I haven't even started on this. I'm already commentating. All of which are fair commentary, and most of these are direct response to Ms. Paulson's allegations against me and her inaccuracies in her reporting. None of which violated any TOS. That's true. None of which have been deemed harassment nor community guideline violations. Not one. My videos about Ms. Paulson are direct response to Ms. Paulson. I haven't spelled that wrong, but I'm not going to fix it. Misinformation, inaccuracies in her reporting, and falsehoods, which have been well documented by myself and dozens of the people on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube creators. Somebody asked, no, she got a TRO. TRO, all you have to do is fill out the petition, you get a TRO, and say some stuff. TRO, anybody. I can get a TRO on anybody right now in North Carolina. I just have to say, oh look, they made a bad video about me, and it cost me, subs, and they're harassing me, and they're saying mean things about me. You can get a TRO. But I think that's misuse. I not just think it. I strongly believe it's misuse of the system. Ms. Paulson has tried to have my channel mass flagged many times. Filed numerous false DMCAs against me, which I've fought and won, and she filed a privacy concern strike when I went over the cease and desist letter she sent to YouTube Sorrell's World, which I fought and won. Now, she did DMCA me on my other channel, which I didn't fight, so that doesn't count. I have never posted any medical records. I've only posted about her son's medical history as a collection of incongruent statements about her son's compiled from her own public blogs and videos as people were looking into her possibly having a multitude of fraudulent GoFundMes, some of which involving her son. Now, again, I hate bringing this stuff up, but this is what people were asking me about. People came to me and they asked me about these fraudulent GoFundMes. All right, so I was looking into them, doing what YouTube, uni claims to do, only more effectively. I have never directed at any time to harass Ms. Paulson. Ms. Paulson has included other people's posts which have nothing to do with me, nor has it shown any evidence I've ever directed anyone to do anything against terms of service, including never telling anyone to harass Ms. Paulson in any way. I do not have associates, as I run a few YouTube channels and have a co-host, Victoria Klein. Yes, that's her real name. It's out there. AKA Cheshire Vic, on a show called Caffeine Corner, where we discuss a potpourri of topics, including how to prevent cyberbullying. I was just a member in the subreddit in question, WOACB, where her information was posted, and know nothing about who posted it, nor did I have anything to do with it being posted. The subreddit I did create was You Without a Freaking Clue, had no such postings of Miss Paulson's address, phone number, neighbor's address, and phone number. The subreddit Miss Paulson mentions where these were posted, U/WOACB, I did not create, nor admin for it, nor do I know who the person who does. I do know who that person is now. They reached out to me about a week and a half ago. I think it was just the day after I did the T-Spiracy interview, whatever that was. How long ago that was? A week ago? Has it been a week? Whatever it was. It wasn't that long ago. When I did the T-Spiracy video. A couple days ago? A week? It's been... My memory's shot. When I do the T-Spiracy thing. Anyway, it was about that time. She liked it. It was the day after she said that it changed her position on it. So I do know who owns that WOACB now. I didn't then. You as a user, not a sub. Okay, yeah. Okay. I don't use Reddit that much. I'm sorry. But it's under the UACB Reddit. Okay, you're right. You as a user. I didn't even think about that. Good point. Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever. I do not own, which contains no... one I do not own, which contain no such postings, and another which isn't my subreddit, nor did I post, nor have an idea who did, right? I do not have, quote, associates with the exceptions of various co-hosts that I have for my shows. Many people I talk to on Twitter or Reddit I barely know, or are random internet users, none of which are my, quote, associates. I've never created any hate groups nor directed anyone to harass Miss Paulson. And it's true, I really don't know a lot of people. I mean, even my mods, I don't know their real names. I don't. You know, doesn't mean I don't trust them. To me, they're a name on a screen that I interact with, but they're a real person. They have real feelings. You know, they're not a Turing, machine of some kind, So. Date range from 2019 to September 2019, the last time I spoke with Ms. Paulson directly. I do believe it was September, and I want to say 22nd, give or take, in 2019. That's the last time I even spoke to Ms. Paulson, right? So the only time I even messaged her after that was on Instagram, and it wasn't that long after. How can I stalk somebody if I don't ever send her messages? I never comment on her videos. I never send her messages. I've never sent her a text message or called her phone. I mean, it's just absolute nonsense. Ms. Paulson on multiple Twitter accounts, one of which she has deleted, but is still available via the Wayback Machine at WOACB Crystal Ball, now owned by somebody else, is a parody account of Ms. Paulson. Consistently would make false allegations against me, and I made numerous videos of responses to her allegations. In September 2019, Ms. Paulson messaged me and wanted me to provide her evidence of my innocence of her accusations, which I did. These were dealing with the fraud accusations. It was later found in North Carolina that, in fact, Mr. Curtis had committed fraud, not me. Ms. Paulson apologized to me for her allegations of fraud and medical fraud on both Twitter and in a video, the one I uploaded on my Great Debate Community channel. There was absolutely no, quote, cyber stalking going on. And to the best of my knowledge, I have not been in any contact with Ms. Paulson since September 22nd, 2019. Again, I left something on her IG. It wasn't directly toward her. I did tag her, but that was, I think, a month after. So, but she never responded to me on it, so I never really had a conversation after that. But it was all around that time period, right? And by the way, one of the reasons I didn't put a lot of this stuff out before, people have asked, why didn't you put it all at once? Because, for one, why do I need to, right? I wanted to do it in steps because I want people to see what the bullshit information other people put out is as compared to the actual reality. And everything I do put out, they're going to spend 10,000 hours of time dissecting. Oh, look what Steve said here. He said this, he said that. And of course, it's giving them content. I get that, but I don't give a fuck about their content. Anybody who watches them, your prerogative, but I think you're enabling them by watching them live. I really do. If you want to watch it after the fact, whatever. But they see those viewing numbers, and that enables them, right? But I think it's important to get the stuff out. And you can tell this was literally wrote on June 8, 2020 was the last time I edited on this. So Ms. Paulson continues to promulgate accusations of fraud and sexual harassment against me. I've found myself constantly having to defend myself as an online personality against her false allegations. Just as recently, Ms. Paulson had falsely accused me of buying subscribers from my YouTube channel. Right? I mean, there's constantly these allegations going on. Now, do you want me to go right to the evidence on this, or do you want me to run through this first and then go to the evidence? I probably should just go through this first and then go to the evidence, right? All right. Respondent made for her. I can tell you right now, the postings that she posted for this, none of them came from me. I had nothing to do with any of them. If you're going to get a TRO against somebody, you need to have evidence against them. If somebody did something to somebody else, what the fuck does that got to do with me? I don't have ties to any of that shit. There's been nothing of me going, hey, go do this or that or do something illegal. Never. Never by anybody. It never happened. So why did she get a TRO with me? If somebody else posted information she found offensive or egregious or whatever, why didn't she get a TRO against them? I mean, that just seems weird to me. Respondent made harassing phone calls and sent harassing text messages to the victims as follows. Now notice these are incongruent here. This is a pre-form here, okay? This is a pre-form. If you actually look at the actual thing, this is a pre-form. Can you see this? So it is respondent made harassing phone calls and sent text messages to the victim as follows. This is already pre-formed. You just check the box. But look what they put underneath. This has nothing to do with harassing phone calls or text messages. And I assume that Katie did this. Respondent has used social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter to contact me despite my request to leave me alone. See my attached affidavit for further context. This is not harassing phone calls or sending text messages. I've never sent her a harassing phone call. I've never called her another number. I've never sent her a text message. But you see how she manipulated that? She put this as the response, but she then said, oh, well, to contact me despite my request to leave her alone. I have not contacted her since September of 2019. I mean, for God's sake. And how many? She didn't tell me to leave her alone. She asked me. Her last thing to me was on September 22nd, saying DM her. She said, "I said, hey, your allegations were public. You accused me of committing a crime because harassment can't be considered a crime." And she said, you know, I'm not talking about this publicly. If you want, DM me, or else I'll block you. I went to go to respond to her, and she had me blocked. That's the last communication, to my recollection, I've ever had with Katie. How is there harassing phone calls or text messages? Zero evidence was produced for that. Zero produced. You kind of see why I've been not letting this go. You kind of see why people have been pinging on this now that I put all the information out. And I did say months and months and months and months ago, I would explain everything and I would put all this out. I keep my promises. So when people say, why are you going on about it? It's because the egregious level of nonsense and lies that have been spewed against me. When I have all the evidence, I have all the facts. I mean, you cannot argue against court records here. This is what she wrote. This is what she wrote, saying I made harassing phone calls to her and sent harassing text messages. But that's not what she put here. That's not what she put. Mr. Ponyboy DKK 45, appreciate it. Kroners, I honestly never saw you instigate any interaction with any of those people. People, they always latch on to anything unrelated you post. Yeah, well, that's a lot of reasons why I don't put everything out, you know, that I want to put out in all at once kind of stuff. You know, they're going to spend hours dissecting this, right? I'm giving people content on this. You're welcome. And they're going to bastardize it, and they're going to try to mislead people. Right? And they're going to tell their followers this is an ad and lie about it. We already know that's going to happen, right? But you know what? You have to weigh the pros and the cons. These people are going to find content to twist anyways. The people that really want the facts, they can watch this video. The people that really want the facts can message me. And I have had people message me already asking me to show them emails and things of that nature, and I have. So, all right. So, yeah, that was kind of just just bizarre that she thinks that me having social media is harassing her phone calls and sending text messages. I said, I have not tried to contact Ms. Paulson since I blocked her back in September 2019, immediately after she blocked me. Again, I did recall, when I wrote this, I did recall afterwards that I did message her on Instagram, or I tagged her on Instagram. That was, I thought it was in September. If it was afterwards, mea culpa. But that's the only other time that I contacted. Well, I didn't even contact her. I just made a message and tagged her thing on it, right? I don't know how Instagram works very well. It's not like a direct message, right? So the last time I ever had any contact direct message-wise with her was September 2019, right? So I don't know if you consider, tagging somebody trying to contact somebody, right? Because we do that all the time on Twitter. What people do is like, oh, here's their tag. They're not trying to contact them. It's not DM. So that's how I interpreted it. I did ask my attorney, in fact, Glenn Williamson, who is Ruhif, that's not doxing, that's known information, to contact her to act as my receiver for any service she may have, as she was talking about the filing, something in regards to me and Sherelle's world. There's nothing attached as any evidence I have this year contacted by her by any social media. I have her blocked on my social media and I'm blocked on hers. I wish to have no contact with Ms. Paulson, but merely I want to tell my side of her continually making false allegations against me and her accurate stories. Oh, anybody have a question so far? Sorry, I'm trying to feel the live chat as well. If you have a question, at me at it, because then it stands out. Right? So. Super chats work too, but they're not required. Somebody has asked, personally, I want to see what Katie Joy claimed and the evidence she actually had. I don't need to see your rebuttal evidence defense. Well, other people do. Yeah, so we're getting there. 82 Productions doesn't know how any social media works, let alone Instagram. I don't use Instagram. My last message to somebody on Instagram was 58 weeks ago, man. I don't like Instagram. I don't like Discord. Everybody knows I do Twitter. Twitter. And I only had my Twitter since 2016. I was one of those people like, oh, do I really want to get Twitter? I don't even know much about it, but I find it's actually the best form of direct communication. So all my communications basically go through Twitter. And I like the fact that Twitter keeps things server side. So if anybody deletes anything, it's still saved, right? So anything I've ever put on Twitter, any DM I've ever done on Twitter, it's all saved server side. So there's a record of it. I like that, right? All right. Respondent has made threats to the victims as follows. Now, again, this is a form, right? This, you got to remember, this is just a standard form. Respondent made threats to the victims as follows, right? Respondent has threatened to ruin my career. Really? I don't recall ever saying that. Can you show me evidence of that? I said she could burn her own channel to the ground. I said any of them could burn their own channel to the ground with lies, right? If people lie continually to their subscribers, I would think that most subscribers would take off. Look what happened to Creep Show Art. That hasn't happened with certain other content creators who lie repeatedly, but, you know, where did I actually make a threat to ruin her career? I don't give a shit about her career. She lies. Simple as that. I mean, people do it with what you will. Polybud $5. Just paying off my cult just paying my cult monthly dues. LMAO. Thank you, Polybud. You've always been very supportive, and I very much appreciate it. In September 2019, he repeatedly tweeted that I was on his radar and has made numerous times that he will not stop until my career is ruined. See my attached affidavit for further context. Fast forward, too long didn't read. We'll show you. It's not in there. I never said such a thing. I said she was on my radar, but if you guys know, the people that have been around for a while, I also said that because she apologized, she's no longer on my radar, right? Because she apologized for the fraud and things of that nature. But then I was like, well, what about the sexual harassment stuff? You know, you lied about that too, and she wouldn't. And I think now it's because if she would admit that she lied about that, it would really affect her as somebody who's like, oh, I'm a Me Too person and I've been harassed, and it would affect her in other stories. So I think that's why she didn't retract that personally. I can't prove that. That's my subjective opinion. But I can prove that I said she is no longer on my radar. Matter of fact, many of you actually messaged me both publicly and privately and said, hey, man, you can't just stop on this, And I found out later after the fact, some people actually felt hurt. They're like, hey, they felt like you abandoned them. And I was like, look, I have illegal stuff going on, and I also have a case against Kyle that I need to focus on. I'm not abandoning anybody, right? So I'm sorry people felt that way, but I have to do what's best for me. So, anyways, I never wanted to think anybody feel they were abandoned. I feel really bad about that. But I mean, here's her actually just, not giving all the information. Repeatedly tweeted I was on his radar. Doesn't tweet that I said, oh, she's no longer on my radar because she, apologized. And what threat is that? So what? She's on my radar, meaning that I'm going to continue to point out her misinformation. Nowhere did I say I would not stop until her career is ruined. Nowhere. Mr. Ponyboy 45 DKK. Oh yes, can't forget the cult membership fee. Did you consider joining my cult? The chicken and the alcohol one. Not yet. I like the alcohol thing. Chicken, I'm not so sure, but it's super secret, so you don't know if I'm a member or not, Mr. Ponyboy. You don't know. It's a secret cult that you have. It's so secret you don't even know if I'm in it. By the way, if you want to actually support all that stuff, become a Patreon. I would really appreciate it. It's not for the cult because I don't have a cult, but whatever. RNG Gaming says, I am going to make my own cult with blackjack and strippers. Hey, by all means, people, if you want to all do your own cult, just make it super secret so you don't even know who's in it, right? But again, can you guys see how she completely misled the court on this? So, go back to my notes on these things. Now, by the way, I don't think I ever publicly released this. This is new. If anybody's ever seen this before, let me know. I mean, privately may have, but obviously. But I don't think that anybody publicly had released this. Erin didn't release this, I don't think, publicly. So I originally said that she was on my radar as I was giving serious consideration to suing Miss Paulson for defamation per se. My lawyer was very clear that I had a case on that. However, I said she was not on my radar as I had bigger fish to go after, meaning I was suing her ex-co-host Kyle R. Curtis for fraud as he absconded with $60,000. And you're going to find that everything I wrote in these things are verifiable. I kept to the absolute facts. People can go do videos on this and say, here's what Steve said, here's the facts on it. That's exactly what I said. I didn't bullshit the court. I didn't bullshit my lawyer. So tentatively accepted her apologies, but then Ms. Paulson continued to falsely accuse me of sexual harassment and fraud after admitting Kyle misled her and that she knew he was lying. She actually said that Kyle was lying. She knew Kyle was lying. That was what she said. I even accepted her apology and explicitly said she was off my radar. Right? And by the way, as I go through this, if you guys remember this as people that have been around for a while, please state it in the live chat. Right? Peace says, unfortunately, I had to get a TRO against someone in the past, and it was very easy to do. I wrote out my ex parte motion, and it was granted in 45 minutes without showing proof. Yeah, because and I understand they give it as a thing of caution, right? But that doesn't mean there's a judgment. Doesn't mean a judge said, hey, this is the case. This means a judge says, look, I'll accept this as unsubstantiated evidence for hearing, or to get it if they don't want a hearing, and we'll go from there. I wanted a hearing. I have shown evidence. I submitted things for a hearing, even though there were people going, Steve never asked for a hearing. The fuck I didn't. Yes, I did. I assure you I did. I wanted that hearing. It was my lawyer that talked me out of it because he wanted to set me up better for a defamation suit. Because Kitty has more money than I've got. I got to tell you, every one of you has more money than I got, so pretty much, right? I mean, I'm not completely broke, but I mean, I don't live very high of the hog. I'm very frugal, man. So she's got money that if I have a defamation suit against her, I have something to gain. What is she going to get from me? Cool Whip bowls? Like, I mean, that's a running joke, but seriously, what the hell is she going to get from me? I mean, she wants to spend money for lawsuits. I mean, look what happened with Kyle. I mean, I'm spending Kyle Roof spending how much for that court case, which that's gone since going criminal. There's hopefully be a restitution thing settled where he has to pay it back, right? Civil, no, you just declare bankruptcy, right? But he can't declare bankruptcy because it's fraud. So, she would never get a dime out of me anyways. But I'd make sure there's nothing to be defamed about. I've never defamed her. She's a public figure. I've said this all along. There has to be malice and there has to be all these other conditions, none of which are met. I've never lied about her. As my lawyer said to me, the truth is an absolute defense. Right? Paraphrase. But he's like, the truth is always an affirmative defense or absolute defense, whatever. And it's true. Mr. Ponyboy, 45 DKK. Dang it, Steve. I'm already a cult Patreon member. I changed my YouTube and Twitter handle. I forgive you. Hugs. Well, yes, I was talking about other people. But thank you. I appreciate it. We should have a drink one of these days, man. Yeah, I'm not joining. I don't know if I'm going to join your cult or not. It's just chicken things that confuse me. But the alcohol sounds good. All right, moving on. I put in it, even Steve McRae, September 22nd, 2019, even though Katie still blames Kyle, which she should, she has taken some responsibility, or so I thought, and retracted her allegations and admitted that Kyle misled her. It is what I asked for and I accept. Doesn't mean all is forgotten, but I am after bigger fish, so she is off my radar for now. And you click on here, I included images for everything, right? So, I mean, I'm well documented in this stuff, right? And I don't delete tweets, so you can go back and you can verify that this tweet is still there, right? So, and she wrote, I wanted to believe my friend. Sadly, he wasn't being forthcoming. No shit. Although now she's back in that narrative, right? I value my honesty. Oh, okay. And expect that my friends, in this case, I hope that Steve gets the money he rightfully is rightfully due, and that Kyle will admit he misled so many of us. Eventually, I realized that Kyle was not being. I know these are out of order, but eventually, I realized that Kyle wasn't being truthful for whatever reason. Maybe he didn't have the money. Maybe he was trying to buy time. But I didn't want to be associated with fraud of any kind. Since it's been over 3 months, I realized my gut feelings were right. Yeah, after the fact, after I already got a judgment. Wow, real good gut feelings there. Hi, Jacob. How you doing, buddy? It's been a while, man. Hope you're doing well. Yes. Jacob Herder's in the audience, people. I know none of you know who he is, but that's okay. He's a great guy. He's been around the Great Debate community for a very, very long time, and I hope he's doing exceptionally well. He's just truly a really nice guy. Kino says, I get pissed off when people bring up your name. They don't know you like I do. You've always been honest. Thank you. I appreciate that. One Warped Angel 49.99. Ooh, thank you, One Warped Angel. Holy cow. They're gonna say, oh look, Steve does these streams for money. It's like, I do streams for math too. I don't get a single super chat. I don't care. I do these because I enjoy them, but if people want to support, I'm grateful. Thank you, One Warped Angel, very much. She says, I find TRO so offensive. I had my ex hold a gun to my head with small children in the house, and I still had to jump through all the kinds of hoops to get an order of protection. Let me ask you, but the TRO was pretty easy to get, but get it to an RO was much more complicated, right? But yeah, that's what it's for. I mean, I never have been in her state. I've never met the woman. How much of a restraining order do you need from somebody you've never met? And she's claiming that I affected her channel. Look at her numbers. So look, how have I affected her channel? I mean, it's absolutely stupid to think that she needed protection from a YouTuber pointing out her misinformation. All right, so moving on here. What I did say was in November 2019 that I was giving serious consideration to suing Ms. Paulson for defamation, which I have videos on. I was gonna have a GoFundMe for that, yes, for willfully making both libelous and slanderous allegations against me that I believe she knew were false at the time of making them. November 22nd, 2019. I am seriously giving deep consideration for suing Katie Joy Paulson for defamation per se, for her accusations of me committing tax fraud, medical fraud, and sexual harassment. I would actually start a legal fund for this sometime next year. Talking to my lawyer on this now, which I did, of course. And quote, why would I want to do that? She always will be on my radar for help. She will always be on my radar for helping to allow Kyle from taking $60,000 plus by trying to falsely accuse me of things. I don't want to forgive her what it was about her. I want her to answer her about her lies and bullshit. And of course, I don't know if that was let's see here. Yeah, okay, so it was after. So after that fact, then it was like she's always going to be my radar to some degree, right? I mean, so she retracted her apology. She struck my channel again. So I was like, okay, she's always going to be on my radar as far as if she puts out misinformation about me, I'm going to respond to it, or if I want to. I should say if I want to. A lot of times I don't, because it's just, like you guys know, it's stupid bullshit. But I have that ability to do so. By the way, I don't watch her stuff. I don't watch her IGs. I don't watch her videos. I don't read her comments. I don't go to her channel. Haven't in well over a year. But I do watch clips that people send to me and people put on Twitter and YouTube and stuff like that. Those I do watch, yeah. I mean, Llama Girl's amazing, but yeah, I don't bother. By radar, I mean looking out for any more mistruths by Ms. Paulson, right? My attorney Scott Myers at Revelation Law, North Carolina, can verify that. It's a public email, but whatever. That about suing Ms. Paulson for defamation. So that's my lawyer, as people know from my court case for Kyle, right? Ms. Paulson has been claimed. Multiple people over the years have tried to, quote, ruin her career in harassment. This goes back long before she even met me. This is a long-standing thing about ruining her career, right? Which I never said. Again, she takes other people's stories and her blender brain puts them all together and mixes them up and parades it in her head, right? And just spits out whatever she thinks, is going to be what somebody wants to hear. She goes with whatever ways the wind blows to make sure that people will feel sympathy for her in their self-victimization narrative. But she says, she says, quote, you have never apologized to me for trying to ruin my career. Not once. Your channel is a mess. Targeted harassment is okay. Find someone more productive to do with your time. This is from January 10, 2020. When did this happen? This was not even to me. This was to, but people know who that is. I'm just going to say Unveiling the Mask. Most people know who she is, right? Right. She's said this to Unveiling the Mask. That wasn't even to me. Right? So that's all she does. You ruined my channel. You're targeted harassment. These are all go-to things, right? So she says that about somebody else, and then she's using the same thing against me here, right? Nobody's targeting her. Nobody's trying to ruin her career. Nobody has targeted harassment. None of these things have ever happened with her. Now, are there some bad actors that have gone after her more recently? Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, do I think there's some weird shit with Little Miss Noble and Nat? Yeah, absolutely. Do I think that people have crossed the line and called CPS? Yeah, highly probable. Do I denounce that? Hell's yes. Anybody who ever does any of that shit, get the fuck away from my channel. I want nothing to do with you. Anyone. It doesn't matter. Even if I found out Cheshire was behind any of that stuff, I would kick her to the curb faster than you can imagine. If I found out Reg Rhetoric was behind any of that stuff, I would kick him to the curb. And I would expect them to do the same for me. We don't put up with that bullshit. Reg Rhetoric and I left a troll group because they were doing stupid shit like that. And it wasn't even a troll group at the time. It was more of a... just a group that went after the younger Thracianists and flat earthers, right? And so it was a lot of mocking and memeing. But then it got dark, and then it didn't become a full-on troll group. They actually sit in Discord. And I know this is going to sound cliche, but they literally do sit in Discord and just talk shit about us like 24/7. And they've admitted this at this point, so it's not even just conspiracy theory. They actually admit there's a Discord on it, so we don't care. All right, Ms. Paulson has actively tried to shut down my channels with false DMCA strikes and privacy strikes, as well as has had call-outs for people to unsubscribe to my channel. Absolutely. Now, I didn't put the image in here, but there is a, and I put it somewhere else in the affidavit stuff, but it actually shows her saying that I don't deserve a 27 or something thousand, 22,000 something channel, which was non sequitur, right? And that people should unsubscribe. Okay, next one. Respondent frightened the victim and threatened behavior as follows. Now remember, again, these are form things, right? That's part of the form things. Respondent has uploaded dozens of videos, tweets, and messages, and provided my address to people who have threatened to get me. I didn't provide anybody's address. And when we go over the evidence, none of them are from me. Her address was on a limited liability corporation. Anybody could find that as public. I even told people, stop doing it. Stop giving her ammo. What the hell's wrong with you? Why would you put that information out? Yes, it's public. Who gives a shit? I can put out my own information because it's my information, but you shouldn't be putting out any other people's addresses of any kind. So, yeah, I don't get that at all. What the hell does that have to do with me? None of that was me. And what? Uploaded dozens of videos and tweets and messages? That's frightening people? No, frightening is when you threaten people and you have, the ability to go harm somebody somehow, physically or otherwise. None of those things put in the evidence were in any way threats. I have received death threats, more death threats, right? In her affidavit, she said the word death threats 4 times. None of them from me. Go figure. But she's getting a TRO against me. Remember, she's getting a TRO against me she's asking the court for. She doesn't say here they were not from Steve. She just says I have received death threats, insinuating, that I have something to do with it or for me. And because my address has been published, not only do I need protection, it was published by her, right? I mean, her information in her company was made public by her, but the harassment must stop to protect the safety and husband of my son. See my attached affidavit for further context, and we will. But you see how she manipulated that? She published her information, but she made it sound like I published her personal information, which never happened, and that I made her death threats or had something to do with them, which never happened. But again, as a judge, if you guys were just reading this, all you would see is that, right? So I wrote, I have 3 YouTube channels. This was my channel, The Great Debate Community, and Non Sequitur Show. I discussed many topics and many content creators. I have never directed anyone ever to do anything harmful against Ms. Paulson. I have asked if people support her and believe that they should ask her for evidence and her accusations and allegations. I know that's kind of worded, but I believe anyone should provide evidence for their claims. Yes, like I'm doing now. Her address was public ages ago in her contact information on her LLC. That's a fact. She even put that in the affidavit, in the evidence. In the evidence of her own support to the court, she put that in there. It was exculpatory evidence. That's evidence I would have used to show that I didn't do it. She literally put exculpatory evidence in the evidence that she put to the court. I don't think her lawyer had much to do with this, because I don't see how her lawyer allowed that evidence in there. I don't get it. It just made no sense to me. But somebody who knows more about the law can maybe explain that. Only time I ever recall seeing her address until recently was someone sent me on Trilla on her house when I was doing a story on Miss Paulson possibly misused funds from a GoFundMe, donations and gifts from mothers in various Facebook groups. And then I've got images to confirm that I put in here. So, these are things that sent to me that were, this was like 2 years ago, right? So they sent this to me, right? And so I was investigating. Well, I'm not investigating, right? I'm not some investigating report. I'm using their terms, and I shouldn't. They had asked me to look into, right? And so I did. And I didn't do much with it, but Cheshire did. She interviewed somebody from that Facebook group on her channel. If she has that link, I'll put it in the video description if she's listening. But that's what that was for. So I had messaged somebody on that. But her information was already on the LLC. So she was trying to tell the court that I publicly doxed her and I put her information out. And when I was, and she actually put evidence out that I said, don't do this. Stop doing that kind of thing. It's like, how do you get, why would you put a TRO on somebody who's telling people stop putting this information out even if it's public? That seems stupid to me. Darth Maul, 5 pounds. Can you explain for the people in the back why you settled for an NDA instead of insisting on a hearing, even though you saw a defense case against her? Yeah, because my lawyer was like, you've got a solid defamation per se case. I don't think he used the word per se, but he said I had a defamation case. And she's a corporation, right? She's a LLC. She's got money. Why would I give a crap about the RO thing if she's going to sue me and Sherelle for defamation, and I can sue her back and win? Right? He even said, and I put in my last blog, which is in the video description, go look at it. He wrote me, this will set you up for a defamation suit against her for a public official. I was going to get money out of her, you know? I was like, okay, screw the RO thing. We'll do her NDA crap. We'll put in there. By the way, it was, again, she wanted the no defamation. She wanted the no defaming, even though she's like, wasn't about that, her image. Okay, then why did they ask for that? I didn't ask for that. Again, read my blog. It's all in there. So that's the reason, because I'm not going to say that I thought it was going to be a payday, but I was like, if she's going to sue me, I might as well get something out of it. And I was trying to work with Sherelle at the time, because I was like, Sherelle, you've got money. If you help me with this, you know, I will pay you back for, right? I'll pay you out of whatever I win, right? But she never contacted me on it. I never got a hold of her. She blocked me. She didn't want to have anything to do with me for whatever. She thought that I gave up her name, or that I was working with the lawyers to try to turn over stuff to help Katie. Hell no, that never happened. So I don't know if Sherelle got misinformation. I have no idea. But I was like, hey, Sherelle, she's suing us. Let's sue her back. I'll show you all the information I've got, all the evidence I've got, and you know, we'll sue her for defamation. That's what I wanted to do, but Sherelle didn't want to have anything to do with me, man. So I think it was a bad mistake. I think Sherelle really messed up. If Sherelle knew how much information I had, she really probably would have helped fund a defamation suit. You know, but whatever. If we would have got sued. You know. Now I do have support now. If I do get sued, I have people willing to help. And of course, I'll do a GoFundMe as well. You know, but if not, I mean, I could file things myself. People have told me, hey, Steve, you could file things yourself, and I know I can. But the evidence is overwhelming. I mean, just overwhelming that she said I committed fraud. I didn't. She said that I committed medical fraud. I didn't. She said I had tax evasion. I didn't. She said that I collected Social Security. That I didn't. She said I collected disability. I didn't. These are all misinformations and lies. These are all defamational. You know, so. And again, I'm not sure if any of these were per se. That's a very specific legal term, but they are defamational. Any death threats she received have absolutely nothing to do with me, as I actively fight against trolls. And anyone who sends death threats, such as standing up for YouTuber Lily Jean, who has received death threats and who has been bullied and harassed and received death threats since she was 15, right? And I put my videos in here, showing that I am actually very much against that kind of shit, right? Miss Paulson has hundreds, if not thousands, of people, YouTubers, Facebook, Twitter, that are not her fans. You know, maybe I'm being hyperbolic, but I don't even think so. I think it's probably in the 1,000 now. Many of which noted her accurate stories before I even met Miss Paulson. It's definitely hundreds, including celebrity YouTuber Toddy Westbrook, who issued Miss Paulson 3 cease and desist letters. I found out it was 4 against Miss Paulson for harassment. Miss Paulson also accused Miss Westbrook of sending her death threats. Right? I mean, you guys remember the screenshot, which I have in the other thing that I will hopefully show you if I get time to. She had a little crystal ball, and she put a gun to it, and she thought that was a death threat, right? So there's a pattern of this behavior. I was working on the story relating to Miss Paulson just prior to this TRO, that Miss Paulson is now actively targeting YouTuber Micah and James Stouffer, who recently gave away their adopted son, Huxley, after they're unable to care for his needs. Again, she keeps talking about children and her child and everything else, but she's more than happy to talk about other people's kids, and in a very demeaning way. She got the records on Sophie, I guess, who was a victim of assault. She asked for those records. Again, I don't really follow this stuff. I know very little about this stuff. This is mostly what I've heard from other people. I'm going to admit that. But from what I understand, she inaccurately reported the Delaware Sheriff's Department leaked confidential information regarding to her to where Huxley's whereabouts. That I did find out she was wrong about. The Sheriff's Department did say that they did not. And you guys can go look into this. I don't think it's relevant to my case, but you can see that the Sheriff's Department did say that they did not release anything. I think okay, so I must have moved that one. But that's really not relevant to this case. With my line of work, my husband has talked very extensively about wanting to get protection in their home because of the nature of my job, because he wants to be able to protect his family. Okay. This is because so she is getting a TRO against me, even though he wants to get protection because of his job. What? Okay, so they've been harassed because of his job. So if they're getting harassed because of his job to protect the family, what does it got to do with me again? This is the YouTube video that we had on the Non Sequitur show where she first appeared. This was the first time I met Miss Paulson, and she already was telling us on the show that because of the nature of her job, she had problems with people online. She had, in the article 4 Things I've Learned from a Mommy Blogger or something, she actually said that she had been harassed for years and stalked for years, long before she met me. But, you know, I'm the one that's harassing her. I'm the one that's stalking her. And yet she has said more people have stalked her than any person on the freaking planet. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It is also very clear that the video has no sexual harassment ever took place. Yeah, because she said it was during a stream. She said it was a pre-stream. When the hell did that ever happen? I've only been in 2 streams that I know of. I thought there was 3. I'm not going to front. I still think there's 3 videos on Non Sequitur that I was with her, but I could only find 2. There was the Jilly Juice and then the awards. But if there's another one somebody knows of, please let me know. But I can't find it. But I thought there was 3, but maybe it was just 2. But it doesn't really matter, 2 or 3. But she claimed that it was pre-stream that I harassed her, even though Bullinator had been in every single pre-stream. He called her out on that, said she was absolutely lying on that. So where's the evidence for that? Because I can tell you right now, if Too Long didn't read, it's not in the evidence she gave to the court. She never mentions any of it to the evidence she gave to the court. Now, I personally am convinced that she never thought this was going to go to trial. She never thought that I would actually fight this. Hashtag I will fight things. And she just thought to herself she could put anything she wants out there with impunity. I wouldn't fight it and get a lawyer, and I'd be stuck with this 2-year restraining order if I didn't fight it, right? But since I did, she never got the restraining order. She got the TRO, which is, you know, ex parte given, and then the RO never came to fruition because the RO is only done as a final judgment, according to OPT lawyer, who's an actual lawyer, and he's right on that. So, I love Steve to file a defamation case and win, just as to see how KDA, LLC, and Punicock spin it into Steve's masterminding of the mind control of the judge. Hey, look, I will go on record right here now. If there is a lawyer that will take this on consignment, or excuse me, not consignment, contingency, I will seriously consider it. If they will say, look, you can sue her, and then whatever we win, I get 40%, I'll seriously consider that. Why wouldn't I? Right? I'd be stupid not to, right? But if, of course, she sues me, then, you know, which, by the way, she didn't follow through on that. She wasn't interested in me. She was interested in Sherelle. Sherelle's got money. I don't know how I got tagged in that lawsuit for defamation. I think it was just a way to try to keep the NDA longer, right? Because I only wanted the NDA for 3 months. They wanted initially indefinitely, from what I understand, and then we finally settled on a year, right? Because I said, okay, how about a year? Because they were like, oh, okay, at the end of the defamation suit, which could take several years, obviously. Several years for a suit. The non sequitur has been 2 years now. So I think she thought this would be a very long time in the future. So why would I want only a 3-month NDA if not me wanting to put the stuff out? I wanted this stuff out, right? So yeah, it's just none of this makes sense to me. Why she even bothered with this with me? I think it was she was going after Sherelle because Sherelle has money. She tagged me on the defamation, tried to silence me because she knows she's not going to get a dime out of me. What the fuck do I got? She knows I'm not some fucking high roller, right? People know I don't live affluently. Rufus has been to my house. He knows where I live. Okay. People make, mock. Steve lives in a cardboard box, a closet. Okay, so what? You know what? It's what I can afford. Big fucking deal. If you want to mock me for that, just proves the people that I keep telling you guys about. They mock people for real life shit. But you know what? I still have a roof over my head. But what is she going to get from me, right? I mean, but again, I'm still not going to do anything that violates any kind of law, any kind of TOS. I'm going to do my damnedest to make sure that everything I have is factual. But she only included me on that defamation suit because it was Sherelle, because Sherelle's the money. Any lawyer in the world is going to say, why would you sue somebody that has no money? Why would you sue somebody that you're not going to get anything out of? And you can say, well, what, you sued Kyle. But Kyle still has a channel, but Kyle is going to go to prison. I'm getting out of that. Plus, we are going to try to have a mandatory restitution thing, right? So, yeah, it's a fair comparison. Why sue Kyle if he's got no money? I get that. I'm not an idiot. But if he has to mandatorily pay us back, because there's certain things that he has done because of the fraud and other things, criminal aspects, that can actually happen, then he has to, or he goes back to jail, right? But originally, we just wanted the channel. If he would have turned over the channel to us, and given us the money, that he owed us, okay, why would they have sued for that? So, Exploratory Minds product, 10 pounds. In all honesty, I was second judging myself when you contacted Sherelle and had her on. She comes to reality TV stuff, and it's gossip oriented, and I was having thoughts that this might not be a good idea. And you might be right, dude. And I love your stuff, bro. And you have good evaluations of things. And you might be right. Sherelle doesn't seem to be the person I thought she was. I think she is being sued by some other people. She seems to be a little bit two-faced, but at the time I didn't know that. But I mean, it makes sense that she wanted Sherelle's money. What is she going to get from a defamation suit from me? She already knows I filed bankruptcy once. She did a background check on me. I've been, very honest about that. I would just file bankruptcy again. I mean, shit. Clow can't file bankruptcy, right? He can't. Because it's in order to file bankruptcy, you have to meet certain conditions, and if you were found liable for fraud, or the other thing is a breach of fiduciary duty, those are non-dischargeable debts. Yeah. So I mean, does that make sense to you? I mean, again, we talked about the other day having opinions. And the difference between stating opinions is facts. And there's justified opinions, there's unjustified opinions, there's opinions that have weak evidence, and there's opinions that have strong evidence, right? So there's 4 different levels that I placed them in. These are just my terms. They're not something you're going to go find anywhere. But I think, given the information and given the evidence, I think that my opinion is strongly justified, right? It's not strong evidence, but I think there is a strong justification to think that she just wanted to sue Sherelle and threw my name in there. Right, because she never actually fulfilled that court case. She never went through with it, right? Yeah, no, Mother Funk. Let me show this. I'm sorry, my mods didn't get it, but Mother Funk, you're absolutely right. Mother Funk, you are absolutely freaking right. Sherelle blew the thing up when she accused KJ of being racist. Dumbass move. I could not agree with you more. The things that Sherelle was saying and her husband or ex-husband or whoever the hell he is, or partner, I don't know what the hell their deal is. They said things without evidence. That was stupid. And even I was telling other people, what the hell is Sherelle doing? She has no evidence for this. And I think that they actually got Katie confused with somebody else, if I'm not mistaken. But, I wasn't about to tell them, but, I'm like, let them burn their own ships, right? But yeah, that was weird. I don't know why she did that. But I agree with you, Mother Funk. Yes. But anyways, moving on. Here's a video made October 2019, right in the middle of the time period, June 2019 to May 2020, that Miss Paulson claims I was, quote, harassing and, quote, cyberstalking. Again, how do you cyberstalk somebody when you don't even watch their shit? I mean, what is constitutive of cyberstalking when you don't give a shit where the fuck they are, you don't give a shit what the hell they're saying, you don't watch their lives, you don't leave comments? What is constitutive there of cyberstalking? I'd like to know. Miss Paulson fully admits she made false allegations against me, which she did, and apologizes and corroborates much of what I have in my reply to Miss Paulson's allegations. This single video alone refutes much of everything Miss Paulson has said in her affidavit. This is on my Google Drive, but this video is her apology video. So, and then Miss Paulson at 3 minutes 27 seconds, and Miss Ka was disorganized in scheduling. Miss Paulson would have to contact me to find out if she was scheduled or not. That is absolutely true. Again, I don't know if I can find those communications with her because they're on a Facebook that she deleted. But if anybody knows a way to find that, I mean, maybe maybe it'd be under a deactivated account or user no longer exists. But shouldn't I still have that, right? Shouldn't I still have? If you contact me on Facebook, right, and I contact you back, and it because it gives you a little thing on the bottom that says, like this person's trying to message you or whatever. If you do have a communication with somebody on Twitter, if they delete their Twitter account, don't you still have a record of it? Because I've seen that before, but I couldn't find this when I looked for it. But she had so many Facebooks that I don't even know which one it was under. She's literally deleted her Facebooks. So, But anyways, you can go watch the video on that. So that is true. She was right about that, right? I mean, this was one of the very few times that she was not lying. Kyle was disorganized, and Katie had to message me, hey, you know, is smoking none on tonight? I'm like, I don't know. That's your guys' deal. Well, how do I know? Ask Bullinator, you know, he's a producer. 409, amidst my producer, Dave Fulton, Bullinator taught her everything she knows about streaming and helped her start her entire YouTube channel. And then she shits on him and calls him a liar, and just mind-boggling how she turned on him after he had straight out said, Katie, you're lying about this. This never happened. RNG Gaming says, hang out later and I will show you. Thank you. This is why I keep smart computer people around. I mean, I'm not computer illiterate by any stretch of imagination. I mean, I'm pretty computer literate, but I don't, as much as I use it, I'm not a big fan of social media. I just use it because it's just like the tools of getting information out there. So, but yes, I appreciate that. Ms. Paulson 455 admits Kyle admitted we were 50-50 partners. I was just not a co-host who didn't get paid. Right? Fun fact, we were 50-50 partners. Right? She says, and by the way, this video here, you can go find places if you really want it. People have seen it. I put it up on my Great Debate community, and she struck it, and I didn't even fight it because, you know, there is something called mirroring, right? If I give you a video and say, hey, look, you can put this video on your channel, it's mirroring. I'm not going to strike it. I want to see if she was do that, right? You know, because it's clearly not fair use if you don't put commentary on it. I understand that, but it was like, hey, she made an apology video to me. And, you know, so okay, I'm going to put it on my channel to show people she made an apology video. And she still struck it. So, weird. Quote, I was not close with Steve. I didn't really know. I've been on a couple streams with him, but I didn't talk with him much. A couple's too, by the way, but yeah, I think that's right. Steve and I have very different points of view politically and socially, and I mean nothing against Steve. It's just like we really weren't besties, I guess you can say. This video was well after the fact. Wait a minute here. I sexually harassed her, supposedly, or sexually made comments to her, and she says, I mean nothing against Steve? Wait a minute here. You are having a TRO against, or she's having a TRO against me, claiming that I harassed her, and yet in a video, she's like, oh, you know, we have very different points of views and socially, and I mean nothing against Steve. Wouldn't you have something against somebody who harassed you? Wouldn't you have something against somebody that made you feel uncomfortable or something like that? I mean, these are incongruencies in her statements. Complete incongruencies. So, I don't get that. I mean, this is, again, a video that was long after the fact. So. And by the way, can my mods make sure they're showing comments? Because I have to keep on showing comments. I appreciate it. Okay. Mods, there's a comment waiting to be shown. Nope. Okay. Never mind, mods. There we go. Thank you. I love my mods. I really do. Ms. Paulson admits Mr. Curtis says he has the money, $60,000, which he took for the show, and that I have not been paid, and why supposedly I have not been paid by Mr. Curtis, and ridiculously saying Kyle said that I didn't want the money due to medical benefits, and that I was, quote, trying to hide the money from the government. Still, fun fact, no evidence has ever been produced of any kind to support either of those allegations. Not a shred of evidence. Nothing. Nothing from even Kyle. Even Kyle, when he submitted to the court, did not submit anything that even remotely would suggest that was the case. I mean, don't you think if you're in a lawsuit with somebody, you would probably want the court to know those things? Did you guys can go right now to the North Carolina court. Do you guys remember seeing anything that Kyle put of evidence of any kind that I didn't want the money due to medical benefits or that I was trying to hide money? Did you see anything? Because I guarantee it doesn't exist. Because that never happened. I never had that conversation with Kyle like that. I explained multiple times what that was about. And there was no fraud. There was no trying to hide money. I was the one saying, hey, make sure that taxes are done right. I don't want to get screwed by it. I have the emails for that. I said, look, I've been fucked by taxes once from state tax. It was a couple $100. It was my own error. I fixed it, right? It was from California state tax. And I guarantee it, they will get their money, the franchise board. It was my own fault. And I admit that. It happens, right? And I've now used SAC software, right? But there was obviously no intent. You know, it was like it was $100 I owe them for whatever reason. This was way back when. But I always make sure I do my taxes right. And yet, you know, he's like, I'm trying to hide money from the government. And by the way, I gave Ruhif my tax returns because he haven't needed them. And Bullinator. So, But yeah, isn't that kind of weird that, you know, these allegations were out there, but no evidence was ever produced of them? Golden Unicorn, $2. New Zealand says, as a wise goblin coined, double speak. She didn't coin that, but yes, but it is double speak. Let's see what else we got here. Polybird, didn't somebody try to report you to the IRS? No, from what I understand, they tried to report me to the FBI and Medicaid or Medi-Cal or something. Whatever it was. They said they did. They said they reported me to the FBI. Okay, where's that? I'd like to see that. Nothing to the IRS that I'm aware of. So if they did try, I don't know that. They made. What were they? What could they report? I mean, it's like, hello. This guy had a YouTube channel, and his crooked ex-partner who was liable for fraud says he didn't want to get paid and paid on the table. Yeah, they're going to give a shit about that. No, they go by evidence, you know. And my evidence shows that never happened, right? So you think the IRS is going to investigate something that never happened? No, they want evidence of it. You can't just make allegations. You have to make evidence, you know. Let's see here. That I didn't want the money. These were all found to be false claims in North Carolina court, but Mr. Curtis, who was found liable for fraud, fraudulent conversion, unfair and deceptive trade practices, produced fiduciary duty, and breach of contract. Now, remember again, all this was actually, you know, going to my lawyer, and of course, I recognize that not all this would be submitted in court to the judge. There's a lot of information, but I wanted him to have all the information available, so when we went to the hearing, he could have it right there and then. I mean, I made his job simple. Let's be honest. If more lawyers had clients like me, their jobs would be so easy. I mean, just like my lawyer for my case with Kyle. How much information do you think we gave him? I mean, he knows everything. He'd never have to worry about me, you know, not giving him something or being untrue or being blindsided. He never had to worry about that shit, right? So, quote, I didn't know he had these benefits with. I just knew Kyle was telling me he was trying to defraud them, and I believed him. Wrongly, I admit. Now, again, she never got any evidence. She admits right here. I didn't know he had these benefits. She had no idea what the hell was going on. I just knew Kyle was telling me that, and I believed him. She believed Kyle. When Kyle said that I was committing fraud, medical fraud, or whatever, she blindly believed him. Now remember, this is part of the skeptic community. Jimmy Snow blindly believed him. Godless Engineer blindly believed him. Caitlin Chloe blindly believed him. Shannon Q blindly believed him, but at least she apologized, right? She was the only one that did. Now, it was private, you know, that's between us, but she did. But, you know, Katie never did. You know, oh, well, I'm sorry. She did and then she retracted it. I'm sorry. She did and then she retracted it, right? But she did blindly believed him. Jimmy Snow blindly believed him. Seeing a pattern here, and by the way, they all were co-hosts of the show. Right, they were all on the show. They all still did stuff with the ACA, except for Katie didn't. But Jimmy Snow, you know, Godless Engineer, even Shannon Q, all part of the ACA kind of stuff. So, at the time, wrongly believed that the statement about Steve defrauding the government or something caused one of his followers, I can't remember her name, Cheshire or something, to create a fake account. Really? Where was this? What fake account did she create? And I love how she puts that. I can't remember her name. Cheshire or something. Yeah, okay, right. She knows who Cheshire was. I thought incorrectly that they have created this account and they were emailing, and whoever did this, it really did happen. This account was created on Twitter and created an email in my likeness, and they began emailing some of my colleagues and business account connections and like pretending to be me, and thought that was coming from, and I thought that was coming from Steve's camp because it happened at the exact same time. Now it could have been someone who was like a supporter of Steve or like a troll like supporting of Steve doing this to me. I believe it was Steve or someone connected him or Cheshire. They have told me that it's not true. Oh, okay. Where's the evidence for that? Again, this is her just saying, I believe this. Look, I don't know if somebody sent an email or not to her business. I have no idea. I don't know what she was actually referring to. It's possible, quite possible. What the fuck does that got to do with me? What does that got to do with Cheshire? Just throwing names out there. I believe it could have been Steve or Cheshire. Okay. Could have been, you know, Biden. It could have been freaking, you know, any one of you. It could have been anybody who did something stupid like that. But it wasn't me and it wasn't Cheshire. If it was, there has to be evidence for this. Where is that? You know? Now you can again, people can have opinions, people can have hypotheses, people can have supposition, but you need to state it as such. Now she does here. She states it as such. She doesn't say it's fact, and I appreciate that. But at the same time, why even associate me or Cheshire? Say, look, somebody has sent me a fake email. We know that happens, right? There have been fake emails. I get that, right? There's been, I guess there was one with the Natty case trying to be me. Somebody had said the other day, I found out watching Rohag's thing, there was a email with my name on it. I was like, wait, what's that? And somebody had pointed out that it was a spoofed email. I'm like, oh, no shit, it's not mine. I can tell you right now, it's not mine. And I guess there was even a warning on it saying that it was something. I couldn't read the warning, but you get one of those yellow-orange warning things saying that it might be fake. But, yeah, I was like, okay, so what does this have to do with me? This is, again, she's trying to get a TRO on me in her own video that we were going to submit as evidence, saying that she doesn't know if it was me or somebody else or somebody supporting. It's like, okay, then why are you getting a TRO on me? You know? So it's just again bizarre. Ms. Paulson talks about how she is aware of my VA benefits are not contingent upon income, and so she knew Ms. Curtis's allegations that I wanted to be, quote, paid under the table were completely false. And this is called a contradiction. If you notice in her affidavit, part 5, which I'll show you right now again. This is her affidavit, part 5. He admitted on live stream that he wanted to be paid under the table cash for work so he would not lose his medical benefits to the state. That never happened. I've never made no such submission. Again, this was an outright lie. This is an outright lie. I've never made any concession of that. What happened was Shannon Q came in. She was hot under the collar. We were trying to calm her down. I related kind of a joke that Kyle was saying, and you know, kind of got blown out of proportion. But I never said, no, hey, look, I told Kyle I want to get paid on the table. That never happened. Of course not. I'm the one saying, hey, make sure the taxes are done. Right? So here she says, so she knew Miss Curtis' allegation that I want to be paid on the table were completely false, right? Because she's aware of the, she's talking about that. At this point, she's talking about reaching out. I mean, I don't know why I didn't quote exactly what she said. But I guess she said she knew my allegations that I want to be paid under the table were completely false. I don't know why I didn't quote her on that. I'll have to go back and watch the video and see exactly what she said. But I do remember her saying that she knew Kyle's allegations were false, right? Talking about reaching out to me and claiming I could make videos about her showing her allegations she made in her affidavit are false. Refutes number 6 in Ms. Paulson's affidavit. This had to do with Amber Portwood. I don't remember what this was about. But I'll read it. So this is from her dealing with Amber. I started getting tagged again with all this Amber Portwood stuff. People kept tagging me and like Steve kept saying stuff and I was really confused. Someone tagged me about some sort of like he was suing someone or sort of lawsuit going on. Again, Mr. Curtis, this is what I put in. These are my notes, right? And so I ended up going to, and I didn't know anything about anything. I didn't know anything about lawsuits. Okay. I didn't know anything about anything. I have no lawsuits out against me. And again, I hadn't his page. I had him blocked on Twitter. I wasn't watching. I mean, he hosted videos where he talked about me. I didn't watch them. Then how do you know I'm cyber stalking you? How do you know that I harassing you if she doesn't watch any of my stuff? I mean, again, these are incongruent statements. That's why she didn't want that video on my channel. I even told my lawyer. I straight out told my lawyer that single video, and this was a conversation we had over phone, but whatever. I told him that single video this exonerates me on everything. All they had to do was play that one video, and her thing, I think, would have been thrown out instantly. Right? So, I mean, you guys can weigh in on that. Anybody? How many of you have watched her apology video? If you've seen her apology video, put 1. If you haven't, then don't do anything. You know. But if you have seen it, press 1. I'm curious some people have actually seen it. All right. I just felt like, if anything, he could say what he wants about me, and it's fine. I'm not going to get in the middle of this. Oh, so I can say whatever I want about her, but she files a TRO against me. Again, incongruent statements. Let him get mad at me. Did I misspell that? It's supposed to be mad. Okay, sorry. I don't care. I am going to move on, but at the end, I'm going to his Facebook group page because I kept getting tagged and stuff related to him. And I was like, all right, I have to see what's going on, why I'm getting to get tagged. And this was 3 months later. I ended up finding he posted like a Google Drive to the lawsuit he filed against Kyle in August. I think on August 23rd in Guilford County, North Carolina, which outlined all the stuff. You know what I think I did? I think I put this in a voice translation program to get a transcript on it, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think I hand typed this out. I don't remember though. No. Tree Feline, I got to inform you that you do not need to be conscious to not say phrases that can be obviously taken out of context. Sure. Their partnership, and like he hasn't been paid, hasn't talked to an attorney. And everything that I felt in July reading the documents that he made against Kyle made sense. What Kyle told me wasn't true, and that he misled me, and then I had defended Kyle, and then had accused Steve of something based statements made by Kyle, and I felt terrible. So let's clarify this. And again, I don't remember if I typed this out, if this was some translation thing. I think where I got this from, if I'm not mistaken, I think at the time, you know how you can go to a video and you put transcript? I think I copied it from that and just took out the timestamps. That's highly probable, because I do that often. I've done that before. So that's why I think it sounds so weird. I think this was actually translated by Google, and I have used other programs to translate shit, but I think that's what this is from. I don't remember. But it doesn't really matter. So she is saying that everything she had said about me, she based upon Kyle's word. Not any evidence. She never saw any evidence of this stuff because it doesn't exist. But she just believed Kyle. Right? Okay, so that's defamation. She made false accusations against me with no evidence to harm my reputation. That's defamation. I felt terrible at this point, so then I reached out. I put those tweets out, and I reached out to Steve. I reached out to Steve. Let me make that very clear here, people. Again, this was 3 months later after the Non Sequitur show breakup and Kyle stole the channel. I harassed her. I'm a cyber stalker. I sexually harassed her, and she reached out to me. And yet she's claiming to the court that I will not leave her alone. This is her own video. Again, I really think that had that video been put into evidence, it would have just shut down the entire thing, because it just, her own words. Okay, there's not a lot of ones. Really? You guys have not seen her video? And Treat Feline, you never saw her video? Polybird, you never saw her video? If you haven't seen her apology video, it's on my channel with commentary, so she can't strike it. But go find that. I really wish a lot of you would go watch that video if you haven't seen it yet. Because we made that video ages ago. How'd you not see it? All right. The evidence Steve showed me supported my hunch. Yeah, hunch after the fact. After she long supported Kyle. After he got shown to be wrong in court, then it was a hunch. That was lying, and now I have to just say I'm sorry to you, Steve, for making those statements. So she apologized here, and then, by the way, not too long ago, she was making those same accusations that I committed fraud. Again, with no evidence. I would have never made those statements had I known or had the right information or had trusted you to begin with. Refutes this was supposed to be refutes one of their other things that she put in her statement. But wait a minute here. She's claiming to get a TRO that I'm harassing her, and yet she's made false statements against me, showing that I had every right to make videos showing those informations were false. So, all right. She says, I'm sorry, and I guess if I was Steve, I'd be super angry too. I have not loved how this was handled publicly, which Kyle wanted, but is neither here nor there. I can see why he would, though, because this was tens of thousands of dollars, $25,000 to $30,000 that he doesn't have, and that's theft. So he deserves that money, and I hope he gets paid. I really do. Oh, but didn't she say that I didn't want the money? Didn't she have numerous tweets where she said Steve didn't want the money? Because I have those. You've seen them. But in her apology video, she says, oh, well, yeah, Steve wanted the money. Steve, I can see why he was, wanted to sue. Again, contradictions. Or in this case, it's more incongruencies, but whatever. I just wanted Steve to know very publicly that I'm sorry. Well, okay, if that's the case, why are you still making those false allegations? Because they're still out there. Ms. Paulson made this video public, then after continuing to make accusations I sexually harassed her, tried to scrub this video from the internet, and has subsequently told her followers that she never apologized to me. She actually said that. Now, I don't have the tweet for that, but maybe you guys do. But she actually said, maybe it was a video or wherever she said it at, but she said she never apologized to me. I know she said this. I absolutely know that she said this. I just don't remember what it was, so I cannot prove that. I'm sorry, but maybe somebody else can find it for me. But she definitely has said that. In my opinion. I'm sorry. In my opinion, because I can't prove it, but, I'm very cognizant that she did say she never apologized to me somewhere. I just don't remember where. But I will say on record, I don't have the evidence right now to prove that. This video is clear evidence I was never harassing her, sexually nor otherwise, and that she admitted she was wrong about me committing fraud, which she falsely accused me of multiple times and now continues to do so in her affidavit. Nor did I steal her intellectual property as she claims. Her intellectual property that she claimed I said, which we'll get to, was her video. This again is supposedly right in the middle of the dates Ms. Paulson is accusing me of harassment and cyberstalking. Man, this is long stuff. Next one. Respondent stole property from the victim as follows. Now remember, these are preformed, right? These are supposed to be more, physical property. Respondent stole property. I mean, like I went to her place and I stole something, right? But she made it as respondent has stolen intellectual property of mine and uploaded it to his YouTube channel for the sole purpose of harassing me. It's her video. It's her video apology to me. How is that harassment? Someone explain this to me. How is me putting a video that she put out apologizing to me harassment of her or stealing her intellectual property? I'm. Do you see how she manipulated that? That's just absurd, right? Ms. Paulson made an apology video to me that I have uploaded to my alt channel, a common practice among YouTubers known as mirroring. Ms. Paulson has been falsely accusing me of fraud and medical fraud, and while I didn't have her direct permission to mirror, I didn't. I thought her apology was in good faith, and the mirror video was an apology to me. She later retracted her apology. She never asked me to take it down. She just DMCA'd it. And deleted her apology from Twitter and issued a DMCA against my video on my alt channel, which I did not contest. There was no attempt to harass. It was her apology video to me, and that, and I, in good faith, thought I could use it on my channel as a video apologizing to me. Right? I mean, I don't think I was wrong on that. Had Ms. Paulson asked me simply to remove the video, I would have, but she filed a DMCA strike instead of which I did not fight. There was no intent to harass. It was a public apology video to me, which is available right here, and I put it in again. Ms. Paulson has also falsely accused me of stealing intellectual property in the past, which she has apologized for. In a direct message to my ex-partner, Ms. Curtis, she claims, quote, Steve's crew is out of control and they stole my intellectual property and created a Twitter account. I have not created any Twitter account with Ms. Paulson's intellectual property. Ms. Paulson is referring to the WOACB commentary account on Twitter, which is this one, which is not my account. She thought it was Cheshire. She thought it was me. She thought it was Kim Fulton, I think, at one time, and she thought it was Tina. I don't know. She thought it was many different people. I know that she thought it was Cheshire. It's not. It's that the person who created that WOACB commentary account, who I think is a mod for my channel. She's just collected a bunch of stuff over the years of her lies. She's been around for a lot longer than I have. And the account's not been around for that long. That the person has been around for a long time, and she's been on my channel. But notice they say that Steve's crew, right? But it's clearly transferred. She said they included her logo, which has something that's similar to Miss Paulson's logo, who Miss Paulson has accused of stealing her logo, but is clearly transformative, and I don't even know the person who owns that account, except her. She goes by the name Crystal. This was long ago. I still don't know much about her, but she has been on my channel, and has her own issues with Miss Paulson long before I had ever heard of either Miss Paulson or this account. It was started in June 2019, but it's completely unrelated and unaffiliated with me other than I have used that account from much of the sources I have here. And now, like I said, she is a mod of mine now. Ms. Paulson has been trying to get that account's personal information for ages. She has not succeeded. But Crystal said she would provide a statement to the court that she has nothing to do with me to the court if her personal information could be kept from Ms. Paulson. There's never been an attempt... There's never been any evidence Crystal has ever made any Gmail account or ever contacted Ms. Paulson's employer. So this is another time she accused somebody of stealing her intellectual property by a logo that was transformative. And then she threatened to get her lawyers from, Pathos on her. That's not how it works. They didn't care. She got fired from Pathos. That's a whole different story. She lied about that. She said she quit Pathos and took her stuff. No, they let her go. They said no, they didn't want her around, and they deleted her stuff. So that was a lie. Susanna Trickmeyer, I think that's how you pronounce her last name, she did some videos and stuff on that. So, all right. Respondent took pictures. This one's, I think, the most egregious out of all of them, because this one involves a child. Respondent took pictures of the videos without my permission. Now, again, this part is form. This is a form pro forma, right? Respondent has used my and my son's image on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook without consent to harass me. I linked to one of her YouTube channels. I don't recall any time I did anything on Facebook. What did I do on Facebook that had to do with her kid? Her picture of a kid. Or on Twitter, other than that one time I linked to her video that's just no longer there. Or on YouTube. Where did I put a picture of her kid on YouTube? Where did I put a picture of her kid on Facebook? The only time her image of her kid was even used, again, was in a video that she made that I linked to. But you see how she manipulated the court system? Respondent took pictures of the video. That means physically took pictures. I asked my lawyer this. This is meant to be, you went to go and you photograph people. That's the context of it. And again, this was actually in a verbal conversation with my lawyer. I was like, believe me or not, I don't care. But you can go ask a lawyer. This was meant to be, you physically took pictures of it. This is a restraining order, right? This is meant to be, hey, you took pictures of the victim, right? So here she says, I had nothing to do with taking pictures. It has used. This is called equivocation and manipulation. I mean, this to me, seriously, is one of the most egregious things of all time, because she has used her son as a manipulation technique to get a temporary restraining order against me, and use the court system, and that's not what this is for. The court system has there to protect an individual from a person actually doing something. Because if you go take paparazzi, they can get a little bit much. But if you're some kind of stalker and you're following somebody around taking their pictures, that in that state is illegal. From what I understand, I guess there's some laws on it. I haven't looked them up, but respondent took pictures of the victim without permission. Took pictures. What does that mean to people in common parlance? Took pictures, like literally took photographs. It doesn't mean you have used somebody's images. I mean, this is a court manipulation at its finest. So this one bothers me. This one bothers me an awful lot. How she manipulated the system on that. I've never taken any photos of Miss Paulson or of any family. I've never been in any. I've not even been in the same state as Miss Paulson at the same time. I've not been to Minnesota. I have once posted a video that Miss Paulson made and posted it on YouTube about her son on my Twitter to ask people what she meant by magically fragile son. I've said this all along, and then people are like, "Oh, you've talked about it on Twitter." Yeah, almost all. I think every single one of them that they had talked about was under that thread. I mean, or in relation, or at least relationship to this, right? I did on Facebook, talk about the medical history that she had said something about this, and I said, okay, what does he mean by this? And I had posted everything that she had claimed, but she had also gone on to say that I took her son's medical records and posted them made in public. I've never gotten her medical records. Again, manipulation of the system. So, but she was like, here, I posted his image. Where? I'd like to know where I did that, but let's see here. Other photos posted are public photos of Miss Paulson, as she's a public figure, right? And I have posted pictures of her, sure. as a self-professed journalist, reporter, blogger, and YouTuber. Okay, so what? Perfectly fine. There was no intent to harass. Now, I mean, I've clapped back on some of the things that her husband did. I mean, he made some memes about me, and I made some memes in response, right? Again, I interview people for my show and discuss current topics. I honestly was asking my Twitter followers just what Miss Paulson means when she has always says that she has a, quote, medically fragile son. The way she's using that phrase is what I was asking. That's what I wanted to know. And I got so much flack for it, it was ridiculous. What is wrong with asking how a person's using a term? I never once said, oh, her son is not sick. Her son never needed surgery. Her son, I never said any of those things that she claimed. The video in question was from a public YouTube taken from Miss Paulson, posted, and I put it here. It's no longer there. My post was this. You guys have read it before. I've showed it many times. Katie's son looks like a normal, very happy kid, and that's just saying he looks like a happy kid. And that's what? What's that? Is that malicious? I really hate involving family and kids. I really do. But she has put it out there. But she claims he is medically fragile. I still don't know what she means by this. I'm clearly not an MD, and I'm honestly asking what would make him medically fragile. That doesn't mean he doesn't have things wrong with him, but I want to know how she's using the term. And I said, healthy looking, normal, and talkative. Because she says he doesn't talk. He comes in and talks all the time. She says he can't do things like normal kids, like even play, but he has a video playing in the street. I just want to know what she meant by it. That's it. So, yeah, she blew that out of proportion by saying, oh, I took pictures. Oh, okay. That's not what they meant by this. Use social media to harass the victim. See exhibits and affidavit, in which we will. I have never harassed Miss Paulson. I have been the victim of Miss Paulson's continuation of false allegations against me, such as claiming I have committed fraud, which she later apologized for, retracted her apology, and now making those same accusations again. Committed sexual harassment, which I documented in my blog. If you guys have not read that, please do so. That blog got more hits than my videos, by the way, so I definitely put things out more on my blog when it comes to that kind of stuff. Ms. Paulson continually tries to DMCA my videos and issue privacy concern strikes, which are not even remotely privately concerned, such as the review of the cease and desist letter that Sherelle gave Sherelle's World, that she gave Sherelle's World when she found out Sherelle was going to do an interview with me. Not talking about the DMCA on the other channel, the alt channel, the Great Debate Community channel. She has actually tried to DMCA my main channel and issue privacy concerns, right? She said that me putting out the cease and desist letter that Sherelle gave me was a privacy concern. Why? You send something in email to somebody, you have no privacy concerns any longer. You send a cease and desist letter to somebody, they can make that public. There's no privacy concerns. And she gave me that letter pretty much the exact same time as she came on the channel, on my channel. So, after that, she stopped talking to me. Ms. Paulson has systematically tried to prevent me from fair criticism of her reporting, as well as numerous false allegations about me. Ms. Paulson has deleted her Twitter before, her Facebook before, and videos to scrub her history, and I have records of, and is using this TRO as a means to silence any criticism against her, much like a slap suit. I live approximately 2,000 miles away from Ms. Paulson. I've never once made any threat to Ms. Paulson, as she knows I have a very limited income to fight any legal actions against me. She is getting bigger in her channel size, and I believe Ms. Paulson doesn't want her subscribers to know about her false allegations against me. This is what this restraining order is about. Ms. Paulson and Ms. Paulson's affidavit 29. I don't want him to be able to talk about me online anymore. She also wanted that in the A. My lawyer was like, no. I told my lawyer, ain't going to happen. I said, not agree. I said, there's no way that I'm going to allow that and violate my First Amendment rights for free speech. Which is, obviously toward the government, but you also have First Amendment considerations to defend yourself, right? All right. Number 9. My voice is getting shot. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to the part 2 on this, which was the evidence. I'm running out of steam here, guys. Describing the effect the harassment has had on my victims, upon the victim's safety, security, or privacy. Now, again, just to show you, this is pro forma. Where's that at? There. This is pro forma. My life has been flipped upside down since he started in 2019. She's had these problems since 5 years before the blog in 2018, something along those lines. She said where she's been harassed long before she met me. I have her blog from 2018, where she has been saying she's been stalked, she's been harassed, she's had death threats. So how is me flipping this upside down? The police have been called to my house. Okay, what the fuck does that got to do with me? I didn't call the police in our house. I don't know anybody who's called the police in our house besides, I think, one person that had said, I don't know, was it T-Spiracy that called the police, or T-Spiracy made a video from which somebody called the police? I don't remember. But I do not know directly anybody that called the police on her. Threats of CPS call, or that's what it was, CPS calls, wasn't it? My neighbors have been contacted. That one I do know. I do know somebody that contacted her neighbors. My address and images of me have been posted online without my consent. You don't need their consent, but what does that got to do with you? But I didn't post her neighbors' addresses or images. I don't know. I don't understand what that has to do with me. She's having a TRO saying my address and images have been posted online without my consent. I didn't post them, though. Or address. I posted her images, but I don't need a consent for that. See my attached affidavit for additional content. I have never called the police on Miss Paulson. Never have I contacted neighbors and threatened CPS against her, nor accused her of abuse. Again, those phone calls would be public record. Evidence. If she had any evidence of ever contacted the police or CPS call, she can call and get those calls. She has from other people that have called, supposedly. Right? So where's the evidence that I ever have? That's what she's getting a TRO for. Right? None of these claims that I have anything to do with me. None of these claims have anything to do with me. If somebody called the police on her or CPS, get a TRO on them. What the fuck does it got to do with me? I didn't ask them to do it. I didn't even look. My stance has been this: if you are calling the police on somebody's CPS and it is not in good faith, you need to go to jail. You have committed a crime. Simple as fucking that. Don't do it. And it just gives them ammo. Miss Paulson claims people have done this to her long before I even met her, which is true. I have quite literally nothing to do with any of these actions against her, with the exception of posting images of her, which I have. I have been posting, and they are public images, which they are, right? Again, she made it sound like I took private images of her, that I took, photographs of her and made them public. That's the narrative she's running with. I've never been to her state. How could I have taken pictures of her? Miss Paulson, nor met her in real life. Miss Paulson is a public figure of sorts. Now she's a full-on public figure legally. And she is a, quote, celebrity journalist. I do not need permission to post her public images, just like she doesn't require my permission to post mine, or like when her husband, Todd Paulson, was making demeaning memes and comments about me and my co-host, Cheshire Vic. She didn't, they didn't need my permission for that. These are the types of posts I was referring to on my social media of Miss Paulson's repeated allegations against me and her husband's attempts to character assassinate me. I am allowed under the First Amendment to defend myself against these comments made by Miss Paulson and her husband Todd. They say my husband is making memes about me. And again, remember, I'm harassing her. She's trying to get a TRO saying I'm cyber stalking her, but they're making memes about me? Seems kind of odd. In regards to the women I stream with, they probably got daddy issues. And his, referring to me, sad, pathetic friend, referring to Cheshire Vic, is going to make a video about you and how stupid you are because she loves her master so much. I don't know what her channel is. It's probably boring. It's boring and bitter. She's probably got a bitter and boring channel. And then her husband says it's probably how her husband describes her vag. And by the way, Cheshire, I ran with that, and she actually made a show called, what was it, Boring and Bitter Brew? Boring and Bitter, or More Boring and Bitter Brew, was it? Which I think is brilliant. I love alliteration. I'm a huge fan of alliteration. So, she's trying to say that I'm stalking her, yet she's making all these memes about me and saying all these nasty things about my co-host that I'm not allowed to respond to. She's talking about my co-host, or he's talking about my co-host vag, right? She claims that I sexually harassed her by supposedly saying the word penis, which never happened. And I keep on saying, look, sailors don't talk like that. It's not how we would talk. Sailors can be very, let's just say, graphic. That's well known. It's called sailor speak sailor talk for a reason. But here's her husband talking about my co-host's vagina. If that's not a double standard, what the hell is? If I sexually harassed her by saying the word penis, how is Todd here not sexually harassing Cheshire by saying vagina? The amount of hypocrisy is just overwhelming. This is why she wanted the TRO, though. Because I'm well documented, and she knows this. She knows I keep track of this shit. And she also knows, again, I will fight her in court, and I will win. But why is she going to spend $10,000 on whatever it is on a restraining order that she knows has no hope of winning? Now that people know the truth, it requires evidence. And by the way, I'm not even somebody should be concerned about. Roadhog is been going after her full throttle. He's a lot more brash than I am. Wait till we see a TRO on him. Mr. Todd says, you sexually harass my wife, you become a meme motherfucker. My dick is so small it looks like a clit. Just kidding. He meant to say I have no idea what a clit looks like. I'm not going to show these images, but they're there. But these were, again, me harassing them. Again, all I had to do is show the court, look, this is what they're saying about me. I don't have a right to respond. Of course I would have won this. But again, my lawyer wanted a defamation, or said I was better off having a defamation suit, because I can get money out of her that way. So I was like, okay, whatever. Because they didn't want this to go to trial. Matter of fact, I have in my blog today, or in my blog the other day, from my attorney saying, in his opinion, Ms. Paulson didn't want to go through with the TRO. And I still think it's because they had no evidence and they wanted, to do this defamation thing. And he's like, look, don't worry about the RO. Go for the defamation. So now I still don't understand why we didn't do both. But they didn't want that. And I guess he was like, look, they want this. Just go ahead and give them what they want. And he kept asking me, this is what they want. I said, yeah, agree, not agree, agree. And we said, okay. But they didn't want to go to trial. They asked for continuation from the judge. The judge didn't give it. And that's all of a sudden where they're like, okay, maybe we need to rethink our strategy. So Ms. Paulson insinuating a meme that I am some type of sexual predator. Hey, girls, want to come over to Mom's basement for YouTube and have unwanted sexual advancements? Again, I'm harassing them, remember? Yeah, okay. Now, again, look, I'm not even going to consider this harassment. I don't mind a good meme. Whatever. I do what the fuck you want. I have a pretty thick skin. But don't sit there and meme me and when you get clapped back, bitch about it. Right? How could you meme somebody and then when they meme back and do a better job, which I think I did, say that's harassment? Mr. Paulson insinuates that I dox females. Both of these men are 49 years old. Oh, ageist. Can you guess which one stays up all night drinking rum and coke while doxing females to hide his insecurities? Really? By the way, I don't even drink rum and coke most of the time on rum and coke night, and it's very infrequently. And when have I doxed anybody? When have I doxed females? Miss Paulson had also falsely accused me of buying subscribers. Where's the evidence for that? And comments for my channel. Where's the evidence for that? Wouldn't be surprised though if Uni had done some shit, because I did at one time getting a lot of weird comments on my YouTube channel. A lot of weird, and I blocked a lot of them. And it was so funny. It was about the time where they were talking about this, so weird on that. But why would I buy comments from my channel? I've been on YouTube for how many years? That's just stupid. I have never bought subscribers nor comments for any of my social media platforms. I have Google look for any fraud. I had Google look for any fraudulent activity, and they found none. However, comment bots are ubiquitous on YouTube, and YouTube is aware of the systematic problem. And what I mean by that, I went to when you have a channel over, I think it's 10,000, you can ask Google support, which is there's regular people, but they do have access to certain other people at Google, right? They have to do what's called, I think, is a second level review. And I was told by them that they didn't find anything. Now, whether what they did or not, I don't know. But I did ask them about it, right? So me even asking about them, right, shows that I had nothing to do with any kind of buying subscribers or comments. I don't think Katie does either, to be honest with you. I really don't. I don't like... Until you can show me evidence of somebody buying subscribers, and I don't give a shit about Social Blade because a lot of people don't even understand how Social Blade works. They don't understand how it truncates. But until you can actually show me hardcore evidence somebody bought subscribers or comments, that to me is always going to be an unsupported allegation. So. Many of my posts and videos that mentioned and are about Ms. Paulson are direct responses to Ms. Paulson's false allegations, blatant contradictions, incorrect reporting, outrageous comments and statements, and attacks against my character by her and her husband, Mr. Paulson. And by the way, this goes back to, like I said, 2020. I like to find anybody who would like to come on and talk about me having any inconsistencies from day one to what I've said now when I go on these interviews. My story has not changed in any capacity. And if you think that it has, I want to talk to you. And then compare it to how many times her story has changed. Ms. Paulson has said that she has been threatened long before I even met her due to her online presence, quote, and quote, job. Ms. Paulson also has said that she looks forward to be able to sexually harass young boys when she gets older, which is strange that she accused me of sexual harassment with such utter disregard to the severity of such statements and accusations. These are the types of comments she makes while I have called her out on publicly. Ms. Paulson, I look forward to naps, and you know what I really look forward to when I get old? I want to be the old grandma that sexually harasses the young boys who walk by. I don't even care, because I feel when you get that old, you have earned the right to be like a sexual harasser. These are her words. I have this in Google Drive. This video is well out there. To me, this is pure hypocrisy. That she's talking about having the right to sexual harass somebody when she's falsely accused me of sexual harassment, and then she goes on a channel to say, "Oh, I don't think I've ever said that he sexually harassed me." And Carly, on that video on Kay's channel, was like, "Yeah, you did," and she's like, "Oh, okay, yeah." So there you go. That's this particular Google Doc. The next one was the confidential exhibits that I'm going to do this in part 2 because I actually go through go through confidential exhibits and I give notes. But we're coming up on the 2-hour mark, and I don't have the wherewithal to do it right now. I'm kind of like being weared out. This was my response to her affidavit. This was shown on Erin's channel. I will go through it myself, but go check out Erin ECKPeoplesuck's channel. This is 73 pages long. That's what it is. 73 pages long of me giving evidence to my lawyer that was going to give to the court when we went to trial. So anybody thinks that I wasn't prepared for this trial is out of their freaking minds. That I ran from her. This is 73 pages long document of refuting everything that she had said in her allegations against me, in her affidavit. I document exceptionally well, I think. This just keeps going and going and going, and yet they say, "Oh, well, Steve begged for an NDA. Steve bowed at the knee." Really? Really? Then why would I waste my time preparing for not only a defense, but a masterful defense, I think I should say. My lawyer was overwhelmed. He's like, he admits he can't go through everything, right? But anyways, you get the idea. We'll go through this in part 2. But you can see that this is 73 pages long of shit that I put in there, right? So, and then I gave this to certain people. These are my links to my documents. And there was one more. There was one more thing I was going to show. So, this is her affidavit. Again, this was shown on Erin's channel. I will go through this next time and with my comments to it. And this was her confidential exhibits, which do you want me to quickly go through this, or do you want me to go through this with the commentary? You guys are decide. It is coming up to the 2-hour mark. My voice is already shot. I haven't been doing exceptionally well physically. So, and I still got my canker sore. Shit, those little things hurt. It's my own fault, though. I use these picks that have like a little bit of a floss on it, and then they have a pick. And so when I floss and I clean my teeth, because people know I'm pretty fastidious about that. I have tubes of toothpaste coming out my ass. I hit my gum, and it became a canker sore. So, do you guys want to see the confidential exhibits now, or do you want to wait to part 2? I'm going to let you guys decide, because I think if I show the confidential exhibits and do commentary on them at the same time, it's more effective. But if you want me to briefly go over them, hit 1. If you want me to wait till next time, press 2. Are canker sores and thrush related? No, I don't think so. Thrush is like a fungus infection, isn't it? No, canker sores are usually due to trauma and stress, which I always have stress. So it's probably a combination. This was due to trauma. I mean, I remember when I hit my gum, I was like, fuck, that hurts. And that became a canker sore. Go through. Water picks are cool. My dad used to have a water pick back in the, was it the 70s and 80s or whatever it was? My dad had a water pick, yeah. I really should get a water pick. I liked using his water pick. I might get one of them. You know what, Ash? That's a good idea. But I also carry these little picks around with me. They're called what the hell? They work really well. They're called dental. Let me see if I can find it 1 sec. I have a bag of them. And I usually keep them by my computer. Anyways, they're just called dental picks. You can buy them at like CVS. 2. All right, you guys are saying wait till next time. Take a break. I agree. But I'll give you a quick hint. This just so you can like prepare for next time. This was our confidential exhibits. I'm just going to run through them real quick. I'm not going to give any commentary on them, but these are so blurry. I don't know why why they're so blurry. But this is her entire exhibit from beginning to end. This is everything she submitted to the court. Now, I had heard that she was supposed to submit a CD with some videos that never transpired. That never happened, I don't think. And the reason why she didn't submit other stuff is because my lawyer had told me that this judge has never had a HRO hearing go over 2 hours. And there's no way this judge was ever going to let any of that in. That's what he told me. So, again, this was in a conversation over the phone with him. I don't have that on record, so don't ask me for it. But, well, you know what? No, I think in one place he does say something like that in email, but I'd have to find it. But whatever, it doesn't matter. All right, so here we go. Confidential Exhibit A. And yes, this is. I contacted my lawyer last week and asked him, "Can I make this public? Is there anything you got through the system legally, through the court case? You can absolutely show publicly." And yet, by the way, you guys remember Katie's last thing that said that, "Oh, tell everybody that how your lawyer fired you for being such a narcissistic jerk or something." Really? Then why was I able to message him on this and ask him a couple weeks ago, whatever it was? Strange, right? All right, here we go. This is a screenshot of the Facebook group in Spanish. Okay. Whatever. This is me posting the top 10 shredded non-evidence that Katie Joy refuses to provide to her followers. Okay, so what? This is me talking about Flossie and Leslie, that I made them promises. Absolutely. So what? This is me. By the way, I did redact a lot of stuff in here. This is redacted. I redacted it. It's not redacted in the originals, but I redacted it. So this is me asking about that GoFundMe. Actually, I don't even have to do any commentary. You can just see, look, this is everything she brought to the table. You'll see there's absolutely nothing to do with any phone calls, anything relating to me doxing her, anything relating to me bullying her, anything relating to me sending death threats, me sending her any phone calls, text messages, taking pictures. She even put hidden. I will go over this one real quick. Glenn, this is my attorney in fact who's paying for the lawsuit for the Secretary Showcase. This is evidence to her of harassment. Hi, Katie. Steve asked me to act on his behalf again for any legal proceedings that might be coming up. And by the way, she knows who he is at this time. She's well aware. I'm hoping you can give me the contact details for your lawyer, and I can formalize things like power of attorney, acceptance of service, etc. with them. That's harassment? What? And I don't know, but maybe Todd Chrisley has seen this because he had a really obscure statement that he said something in his podcast to the likeness of, do it through lawyers because he doesn't want somebody sending her directly because she'll call that harassment. I wonder if he actually knew about this. I'm just kind of curious. It's probably coincidence, but how is this harassment? Darth Maul says for £5, unrelated, but are there any updates on Mr. Curtis's whereabouts? No. He's in hiding. But here's the thing, that those arrest warrants never go away. So he says he's got an attorney. Well, he said that before and he lied. If he does have an attorney, I would assume it would be a defense attorney, right? I mean, I don't know why he would get a civil attorney when he has a criminal matter, right? But there's been no notice of showing, right? There's been Nothing of that. There's no notification to the court of showing or appearance. It was called notice of appearance. So did he lie about having another lawyer? Was that the second time he lied about that? I don't know. He might actually have a defense attorney. If it's a defense attorney, I don't know if it's actually going to be even shown as a notice of appearance to the court case, because it's a criminal hearing, not a civil at that point. So I don't know how that works. I'll have to ask OPT lawyer, and he might not even know because he doesn't do criminal stuff. But it seems odd to me that if you get a defense attorney for a defense of a criminal matter, why it would have to be listed in the civil record, right? So I don't think it has to have a notice of appearance. I don't know though. But he might have wisened up and said, "Hey, look, I have criminal proceedings against me that are not going away. I need to get a lawyer." And he might have got a public defendant. Maybe. I don't know. All right, so moving on. I'm going to keep this under 2 hours. This is my opinion on Katie. Okay, so what? This is by the way, these are all public things. These all were made public. You know, I didn't hide anything. Okay, more public stuff. I will say this one. This one's a class. This one's awesome. Let me blow this one up. This is her single, solitary, only thing in her evidence of a death threat. I was talking to my Navy friend the other day. He was talking about having a 45 rack to wake him up. And now when I watch a police show and they rack their guns, I notice that sound of an empty chamber versus one with an actual bullet being loaded. To me, at least, the sound is different. If you guys remember, I had a Navy friend on that I've known for 30 fucking years. Talk about when he wasn't woken up, they would come by, it was called the roving watch, and they would rack a gun in his ear. And I don't know if you've ever been woken up that way, but it would suck, right? I haven't. They didn't do that to me, but I know what the sound sounds like. But it made me think that, hey, look, that sound of an empty chamber versus one with a bullet is different. What the fuck is this a death threat to anyone? Oh, he only did criminal stuff. I'm sorry, you're right. My bad. I'm so sorry. I lied. Steve lied about OPT lawyer. He says I only did criminal stuff. That's right. It was civil stuff he really did do. Okay, so most of mine was appeals, but I did nothing but criminal stuff. I'm so sorry. Oh my God, forgive me, OPT lawyer. Oh my God, you know what's gonna happen now? OPT lawyer is now becoming crazy, and he's gonna have a vendetta against me for the next 5 years of my life. And he's got smarts. He can really screw me over if he wants, I'm sure. Right? But anyways, let me ask him why he's there. If he got a public defender to defend him against the criminal charges of criminal contempt, does that require a notice of appearance to the court? And by the way, you notice OPT lawyer not denying that he's going to have a 5-year vengeance thing on me? You notice that? Okay. Yeah, he scares me now. All right, continuing on. I'll keep this blown up so you can see it. But that's it. That was her evidence to the court of death threats. I mean, Jesus, people. Did I miss something here? Nope. All right. This is from the Without a Crystal Ball group or something. This is what Katie has posted. What does this got to do with me? I have nothing. I didn't even know what the fuck this even was about. You know? But this was from somebody, I was trying to read this name, and I still can't read it, so I don't know what the hell this was. I never was able to get the name clear enough, because this is a really bad image. But it certainly wasn't me, right? So why is this in a TRO against me? This is a very nondescript thing of an image that was posted on WOACB, which they removed. It has nothing to do with me. Same person. And by the way, again, this user... this Reddit, that admin person from this Reddit has reached out to me recently, and I know who they are, but not this person, not the user. So the person who noted the difference between you and R, you're right. I should have had R there rather than you there. My apologies. I'm not going to go back and fix it though, because it'll change the date on it, and I don't want to do that. Yeah, so the defense lawyer would probably just go with them, but I don't think it'd be a notice of appearance in the civil matter. All right, so this is her LLC. You know, I rejected everything, but you know, it's all been put out by her. You know, she made her LLC information public. And again, I don't know who this person is, but what does this have to do with me? I don't know this person who posted this. If you're going to have a TRO against somebody and you think that they've somehow put information out that shouldn't be out,
Find out who they are and put a TRO on them. Again, same thing. Had nothing to do with any of this. Again, nothing to do with any of this. Nothing to do with any of this. This has to do with... This was something from Little Red. What the hell does this have to do with me? And I know, and I have nothing against Little Red. I really don't. We just don't talk that much. I found her content to be a little more aggressive style that I'm not used to. And I don't like that. But, as far as a person, I've never had any problems with Little Red. I really haven't. I think that, she probably goes a little bit much on some of the things she says without evidence. And she may buy into things, but as far as that, as a person, I don't have any issue with her. But, I don't talk to her that much, But she's welcome to come on my channel anytime. But what does this have to do with me? Manya says, can I get a copy of what's on the screen? Her proof she submitted to back her NDA? Yeah, I can send this to you. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I already did. I said the link things, those links that has this on. No, it doesn't. I'm sorry. You're right. It doesn't. Yeah, I'll give you the link to my Google Drive for this. And it's so funny. I in a chat says I said I have a Google Drive. Anybody want it? And I was just being like, hey, everybody has a Google Drive. So what? I got nothing of any super secret shit on it. And she goes, yeah, that Google Drive has all my information on it. I'm like, what? It has your evidence that you submitted to the court from stuff from public records. So what? But that's not that even. It wasn't even meaning it like that. She made a mountain out of a molehill. I was like, yeah, everybody's got a fucking Google Drive. So what? Yeah. Again, this is a little red. That has nothing to do with me. This is something that I put out on Twitter that has nothing to do with anything. I mean, so what? Doxing isn't illegal as it stands. It's only illegal if it's used in some type of harassment. But I'm like, saying, oh, Steve put this out or somebody else put this out. That's not something that's illegal. It's a tort if it's harassment. Some states, as a pattern of harassment, you can use doxing as evidence for it, which makes it illegal. But doxing in of itself, if like example, if I put out OPT's lawyer actual information, like his real name, because he doesn't use his real name publicly, that would be doxing. Right, because he doesn't use that information. Would it be illegal? No. Would it be unethical? Hells yes. And he knows I would never do that. Right, so... All right, so let's see here. Very, very strange some of the stuff is in there, right? I mean, it's all public stuff. And again, we'll go into it the second time in the second part too. What does this have to do with me? Nothing. What does this have to do with me? Again, this is in there twice, has nothing to do with me. As far as, any kind of harassment, I was very clear that I think that she's a liar. Yeah. And I do think she helped cover up stealing $60,000, right? And I don't mean like she helped like as in collusion or, and I made this very clear in the video that I had on my GDC's channel, that do I think her and Kyle sat there and masterminded this? No. But I do think she helped Kyle steal it by having these false allegations. Abso-fucking-lutely I do. But see, Katie doesn't understand these nuances of words and differences on context. She'll find anything out there to try to make it the worst possible interpretation rather than the best possible interpretation, which is called steel manning, which is what we do. So I think I am well substantially justified to say that she helped Kyle steal that money by putting out misinformation about me because it emboldened him. I've never once said Katie and Kyle conspired or colluded together to do any of this. Never once have I said this. And if I have, I like to know where, and I will correct that for the record. Okay? If you find where I say, look, Katie and Kyle sat there on Discord and colluded together, and they both wanted to steal money from me, let me know. Okay? But I can tell you right now, I do very strongly believe, because she emboldened him, and other people emboldened him, it did help him stealing that money. I'm allowed to have that as an opinion. I very much am. And then I don't follow the Duggars, but you may interest me on my story. But why is this in a TRO? That I promoted my blog? And that's it. And this is my blog. This is it. That's her big evidence. Oh, I'm sorry. There's more. My bad. There's more. I want to be correct here. Sorry. Okay, so there's that. There's the me as I put something in the group, right? that people, I said, due to continual threats against me and my family, people and other people, it's highly recommended for your own safety. You do not release any personal information against you yourself that can be used against you. That's just good advice. Don't put out personal information that can be used against you. Why is this part of the TRO? This has nothing to do with me. You know, again, so what? I find Katie to be repugnant. So what? I'm allowed to have these opinions. I think she is pure evil. That is my opinion. These are not something you can't file a TRO against somebody for opinions. Well, obviously, I guess you can. I can file it. Sorry, I retract that. You could file a TRO for it, but you're not going to get an RO out of it. And this is about, you know, the family, Flossie and Leslie's family. I'm not gonna go over this stuff. It has to do with that other stuff. I'm not going to get into screenshots. It has to do with somebody's son, and I don't think it's relevant. But anyways, that's it. This is the very bottom. This is the only thing she submitted to the court that I don't think the judge ever saw. Nothing about me doxing her. Nothing about me sending text messages to her. Nothing about calling her phone. Nothing about taking pictures of her. Nothing about sexually harassing her. None of the allegations that she had for her... I didn't mean to do that. For her affidavit, nor for her petition, were in this. Nothing supported it. And I highly recommend going to ECKPeoplesuck's channel and watching her videos on this. She has 2 or 3 by now. Watch them. They are very well done. Especially the one today. She didn't have any comment on it. You can see what, you know, these things. She just reads them. That's all she does is read them. So go see, look, if I was a judge and all I had in front of me was this stuff, what would I think? But again, the judge didn't see any of this actual evidence here, as far as I know. If I'm wrong on that, I will apologize. But I didn't ask my lawyer if he did. I don't think. Oh, she did. I think it was a female judge. I don't see why she would have, because it would have been only shown during discovery. Judges don't waste their time with evidence when the case 95%. If I understand, 95% of cases don't even go to trial. So it would be a waste of a time for a judge to sit there and pour through hours and hours of evidence for something that may not even go to trial. So it just makes sense to me that the judge never saw this. Because I have a feeling if the judge would have saw this, it would have been probably not only dismissed, but dismissed with prejudice. Because it's just so egregious how she manipulated the system. So... anyways, that's that, people. I am going to do a part 2, and I'll go through the evidence more, and I'll go through some of my other Google documents that I have notes on it. Again, we'll share the Reg Rhetoric Discord files, the super secret stuff, and the Unirock FBI files at another time. Never. They are empty, but whatever. But whatever. That's my OBS. Yeah, this is how I actually... you guys want to know how I stream. This is it. That's how you do it. And then if you actually expand this, you get the actual elements, right? So, anyways, what are you guys' questions before I end this? I'm over my 2-hour mark that I set for myself. I will do a part 2. And tomorrow I will be doing philosophy stuff. It's Sunday. And I'm going to be doing a mixture, obviously, of both. I want to appease everybody, but I do prefer the philosophy stuff. You guys know that. But hopefully tomorrow I'll be reviewing a video, at least parts of a video, from Jake the Metaphysician, who used to be an atheist that converted to Islam. Really nice guy. I get along with it pretty well. But he asked me to look over this video and kind of review it. I'm like, it's 2 hours, man. I can't review a 2-hour video. Shit, 15-minute videos take me 2 hours to review. I talk a lot. All right. Don't forget to DM me on Twitter. I will do that. Yes, absolutely. Oh, and by the way, I believe Katie said that she's ignoring all this stuff and she's not going to talk about any of it. So we can see if she even talks about this, right? We'll see. I mean, I doubt she will anyways. Why would she? No, she knows what she did. She knows she manipulated the system. In some conscious way, if she has a shred of a conscience. If she doesn't, then she's just a sociopath, right? A sociopath doesn't have a conscience. And I personally believe, in my opinion, she's somewhere in between a sociopath and a psychopath. Somewhere in between. That's, again, my opinion. I've always said this, not news to anybody. I'm not a physician or a doctor. I can't make any medical diagnosis, but I'm certainly welcome to my lay opinion. But I mean, it's kind of difficult for me to accept that anybody can rationally look at the evidence she gave to the court and look at the petition and the affidavit and think there's any congruency between them. There's not. I think that she submitted that after I asked for a hearing. I don't know that for a fact, but I don't know. I don't know when the chronology, but it's strange that they don't match, right? It just seems weird. You think that you would put forth your best information. Now, I did ask for a hearing, and it was like 7 days later. You have 20 days, I think, in North Carolina. I asked for it in 7 days, and yet people were still saying, Steve never asked for a hearing. Yeah, I did. I have that document. It's on Twitter. Let me all right, that's it, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank my mods as usual. I want to thank my subscribers. I want to thank my patrons and members exceptionally. So if you really want to support me, and the fact that I spend a lot of time putting these things together. I mean, I really do. Plan these things out. Become a member of the channel, and or become a Patreon. I really do appreciate it, because it's tough. It's tough nowadays. Not going to front. And this is what I'm saying. What does Katie think she's going to sue me for defamation before? I didn't get paid by Kyle. I don't have a large membership. I mean, I don't know. It just seems off to me. All right. Good night, guys. Claire, OPT Lord, Mr. Sirius, Ash, as usual. Thanks for modding tonight or afternoon. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Good night.